All right. I should be up and running. I'll wait for you guys to give me a thumbs up on whether or not you can hear me. Making sure everything's right. All right, I've got a couple of hellos. People can see me, correct? See me and hear me? We're good to go? We got some shit to talk about. Jesus. I'm not sure what we just watched. Let me just kind of chill out for a minute and wait for people to start rolling in. All right, good. All right, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Oh, yeah, you're piling in now. All right, cool. I don't know what we just saw. Right off the bat, I'm seeing comments about the ending. Yeah, I have no idea. Perplexing. And it ended early, too. What time is it? It's not even 8 o'clock. I had originally set the stream for 8:15, thinking that the pay-per-view might run over. Remember last year how long that match took. So I don't know what the hell was going on tonight. I don't know if things were changed last minute. I really don't know. So I'm not going to get into anything too hardcore here until some people start arriving. Looks like we got a good amount of people on board so far. What do you guys think? Thumbs up and thumbs down. I meant to put a Twitter poll up and I didn't. It's probably too late now. I think overall the show was good. We had some really good wrestling, but, you know, what the hell was going on with some of these matches? Oh, yeah, we got over 100 of you in already. Okay, we're good. So, it's a bummer the way the match ended because, you know, everything was pretty good up until that point. You know, the match with a lot of veterans in there, I thought they were doing as best they could. I thought we had some really unique matchups and some cool moments and stuff, but the ending was all out of whack. And it's the only match I got wrong. The main event, I predicted everything correctly. So I got one match wrong on Survivor Series, one match wrong on TakeOver. Everything else I got right. So really surprised that SmackDown didn't pull out a victory there. I thought it would have been nice for them, a nice little victory or feather in their cap. And they seem to be a more cohesive team, like I mentioned in my past couple of commentaries, because Raw has got dissension out the ass, plus Braun Strowman. So I didn't see really Raw winning this thing. I thought they would come up with a way for SmackDown to win. So yeah, the ending was very underwhelming and kind of disappointing. Yeah, people are saying it was a good show overall, so that's nice to see, you know, because it was. I mean, there was a lot of good wrestling, and thank God for that AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar match. Am I right? Holy crap. I mean, could you imagine if we got AJ Styles on Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal instead? Think about the shitfest that match would have been. And AJ versus Brock was awesome, and I'll talk more in detail about that here in a second. So now it looks like we got a good amount of people on board, so I'm going to start kind of going through the show here. By the way, welcome. This is my first attempt at a live pay-per-view review on YouTube. This is just an experiment. Normally I come up and give you a normal podcast type form commentary, and I put it up on the website and Stitcher and all of that stuff, but I thought this time it would be nice to come up right away and just give this a try. Maybe I can make this a tradition for pay-per-views and just do my normal Raw and SmackDown reviews in podcast form. So just an idea I've had. We'll see how the response is, and we'll see how focused I can stay and how off track we might get as I read comments here and maybe answer some questions and stuff later on. So what I'm going to try to do is talk about Survivor Series. You know, we'll go in order, match by match here. I'll talk about NXT War Games on Saturday, which I did watch, which was an amazing show. And then at the end, we'll chit-chat, shoot the shit. I'll answer some questions, and we can talk about pretty much anything you want. Gosh, all these people saying the same thing about the ending. I kind of expected to see Jason Jordan too, to be honest with you. So yeah, we'll talk about that here in a minute. Now, the kickoff show, the only match that I predicted was Enzo Amore versus Kalisto. I predicted that Enzo would retain the title. I wasn't home to see all of the kickoff show, so I haven't gone back to take a look at that match, but I think Enzo won that clean. Am I right? That kind of surprised me, and I thought it was kind of good. I'm glad that Enzo kept the belt there. They also added Elias versus Matt Hardy. Elias won that. I missed that match, and I saw a little bit of the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Breezango match. So they had 3 matches on the kickoff. I think it was a 2-hour-long kickoff show, and then we had a 4-hour pay-per-view. So there was a lot going on. The opening match was New Day versus The Shield. This match was good, but I was thinking it would be a lot better. I think the Usos versus the New Day was a much better program and much better match than The Shield versus the New Day, and I think that the Usos versus Dean and Seth would have been a better tag team match. I almost wish they would have stuck with that original plan, but I think they wanted to have the Usos go over, and they don't want to beat the Shield right now. That's my only thinking on that. Where the hell was I? But yeah, Shield and sorry, I'm reading all these comments. I'm getting distracted. But yeah, Shield and New Day. The ending I thought was pretty good. I think they won with a triple power bomb on poor Kofi. Hit him so hard with that, he's probably Jamaican again. And they got the victory there. So that wasn't too surprising, even though the New Day's awesome and everything. You know, they're not going to beat the Shield right now, especially in a throw-together match like this that's opening the show. Roman Reigns, curtain jerker. How about that? So, and he had really not a big role on the show at all. I thought we might see the Shield later on in the 5-on-5 match. I thought it might turn into a Raw versus SmackDown brawl again. So I wasn't convinced that we had seen the last of Roman, or Seth, or Dean for that matter. But that was it. That's all they did. One match with the New Day. They won, and they moved on. The next match was the 5-on-5 women's match, Raw versus SmackDown. I predicted Asuka to kind of be pretty dominant in that. She was. Nothing really notable out of the match. They did have one confrontation with Nia Jax and Tamina. Other than that, there was really nothing else crazy going on. I knew that Asuka would need to be in an uphill battle if she was going to survive. And incidentally, Natalya, by the way, was the mystery partner, quote unquote, in that match. We kind of thought it might be Paige. Still don't know where Paige is going to turn up, probably Raw. But Natty really with no... Unless they announced this on Twitter, they may have. I wasn't aware that Natty was going to be the fifth woman on that team until she was announced. So that caught me by surprise, but it turned out to be Natalya and Tamina 2-on-1 versus Asuka to finish the match, and Asuka tapped out both of them like I knew she would. So she was the sole survivor. And speaking of sole survivors, excuse me, I hate it when they say sole survivor when it's not a sole survivor. They actually announced the winners of the main event tonight, Triple H and Braun Strowman, as the sole survivors. Google sole survivor, look it up. The one and only person that survives. That's what sole survivor means. And I think that everybody in WWE has been so programmed to say sole survivor. It's only meant for when there's one fucking person at the end of it. It just drives me crazy. They've been doing that shit incorrectly for years. And wrestlers even say it in promos. Pisses me off. Anyway, what was the third match? Shit, I gotta look it up. I think it was Baron Corbin and The Miz, right? Yeah, Baron Corbin and The Miz. That match was pretty good, I gotta say. Baron Corbin beat him clean, beat the hell out of the Miztourage on the outside of the ring, nailed Curtis Axel, who's in the neck brace, and smacked Bo Dallas around as well. Hit The Miz with the end of days and got the pin. So I was rooting for Baron Corbin in that match. That's why I predicted him, because I just thought he benefited more from a win than The Miz did. And, you know, feel free to disagree, but I just feel that The Miz can kind of keep rolling. Baron Corbin, just with what's happened to him previously after the Money in the Bank debacle and all of that, you know, the less losses for this guy, especially when he's holding a title belt, the better, in my opinion. Tonight I'm drinking Lagunitas IPA. Can you see it? Where's my camera there? Decent IPA, not too strong, not too weak. It's a perfect beer for this type of night. I've been sipping on these all night during Survivor Series. I had a good time tonight, you know, tweeting with all of you guys. It was a lot of fun. So I enjoyed the show, and I enjoyed the weekend. And don't worry, I'll get into War Games here and stuff in just a second. All right, so where did I leave off? With Corbin and The Miz, right? Sorry, I got my microphone in front of my screen. I can't read everything here. Usos and Cesaro and Sheamus was up next. Usos won that match. Very good. And I think that match was the best because of, like, the last 5 minutes or so. I had a really good finishing sequence there, which I enjoyed. And they had just a ton of super kicks and all of that. So Usos wound up winning that match. I don't know what the hell's going on with Sheamus's hair. That was crazy. I made a comment on Twitter that I don't think rubber cement is very good for your hair. Sheamus might want to be careful with that. But I was happy the Usos won. I was rooting for them. I like them, you know, I don't want to say better than The Bar, but I think they're definitely my two favorite tag teams in WWE. But overall, I'm really impressed, and I love the Usos' work since turning heel. They're just on fire on the mic every week, and they're entertaining, and they're good. They're so good in the ring. So I'm Team Usos. I think I will always be. And it's hard to root against Sheamus and Cesaro because I love them too, but very happy to see the Usos win there. So by that point, we were 2-2 on the card. And as a matter of fact, I had some pictures ready, but I guess I fucked that up. But anyway, up next was Charlotte, as you can see here, taking on Alexa Bliss. Charlotte won that, tapped her out with the figure eight. Happy to see that there. Not a big surprise, though, because, you know, Charlotte owed Alexa Bliss, too, because I don't even think I mentioned this in my last commentary, but Alexa smacked her around when Raw invaded SmackDown last week on the Go Home show. and the girls surrounded her, and then Alexa, I think, slapped her in the face or whatever, and Charlotte went down. So you knew Charlotte had to get some payback here. She just won the belt last week, riding all of this momentum with Flair and her father and 30 for 30 and all this stuff, and she hasn't held the SmackDown Ladies title yet. So I didn't really see her losing. Plus, she's better than Alexa Bliss. And I don't hate on Alexa Bliss. Trust me, I'm not a Alexa Bliss hater, but I think I'm more of a Charlotte lover. And I would not have wanted to see Alexa Bliss defeat Charlotte. What was up next? Brock versus AJ Styles. Man, I am going through these reviews quick here. I don't even know how long we've been going here. What, 5 minutes, and I'm already to AJ versus Brock? Do we want to back up and talk about anything before I get into AJ versus Brock? Because that was a damn good match. Let me go down here and read some comments. Let's slow things down a bit. Yeah, Usos rocked the house. I agree. That was a really good match. But like I said earlier, I think Seth and Dean would have been better. That would have been a lot of fun. But explains a lot now. WWE had these matches so perfectly laid out who they wanted to win on the SmackDown and Raw side of things. I guess it makes sense that they took the belt off of Seth and Dean so they could have Cesaro and Sheamus job, I guess, to the Usos, for lack of a better term. Some Triple H comments. I mentioned in my last episode that he looks old as shit. Am I right? He is really starting to age. Not his fault. I'm not ragging on him. Trust me, I'm not giving him shit. The guy is in better shape than any of us will be at that age, even despite the fact that he looks a little bit old. But you can tell the toll that job is taking on him physically. It's just hard. I don't know if anybody... I mean, he's the only guy... he's trying to follow in Vince's footsteps here and work that type of schedule and wear all of those hats, and I don't think there's anybody that can do that. And Triple H, it's starting to show. This is good. Let's pause for a second and talk about my Twitter beef earlier today. Now, I don't have these Twitter beefs. I never get into Twitter drama ever. I ignore everything. But some fucker, some, like, retired jobber, I've never even heard of him, Jumping Jim, not Brunzell, Jumping Jim something or other fuck, I don't remember, got pissed off because, as you guys know, I kind of sometimes poke fun at Marty Jannetty on Twitter because I happen to read his Facebook posts a lot, and they're so crazy out there, and they're so weird, and they're so uncomfortable and creepy and perverted and offensive in some ways, and he just disappoints me. I was always such a big fan of the Rockers. I thought Marty Jannetty was a hell of a talent back in the day. I think without his demons, he could have been, a more bigger champion than he was, especially in singles and stuff like that. He wasn't Shawn Michaels, but he had the look, he had the ability in the ring, and I thought he was good, and he was a great tag team wrestler. But now, seeing him like this, DDP needs to give him a call because Marty Jannetty is a fucking mess, and he sends out the dumbest shit. Even posted a picture of some girl that he thought might be his daughter. Come to find out she wasn't his daughter, but he still expressed interest in having sex with her, and he got all sorts of shit for that. And sometimes I just, playfully kind of poke fun at him on Twitter. Now, I know he's clearly got a substance abuse problem. He'll tell you that he doesn't, but he does. And so I guess really it's not very mature of me to make fun of him. However, it just kind of annoys me because I just don't understand why people can't get their shit together and, stop acting like idiots. So sometimes I call him out a little bit on Twitter. Well, some guy takes huge offense to this, and he's like, tread carefully on what you say. At the end of the day, Marty Jannetty is still one of the boys. Chris Benoit was also still one of the boys. Just because you're one of the boys doesn't mean you are exempt from criticism. And the way Marty Jannetty acts, I feel like, giving him shit for it sometimes. But I don't, dislike Marty as a person. I'm just, disappointed in how dumb he is, because I was always a fan of Marty Jannetty. And I respect his ability in the ring. So this guy just takes huge offense to this. And then starts getting really out there in his insults to where I just started playfully having fun with the guy. I didn't block him. I didn't mute him. I didn't do anything like that. Didn't even care enough to. It was almost fun just kind of messing with him a little bit because he was taking such offense. And then I called him a jobber, made the big mistake of calling him a jobber. Don't ever use that word. You wouldn't use the N-word around a black, would you? That's what he said, a black. Well, one thing I wouldn't call a black person is a black because it's 2017. So he's immediately kind of cracking me up a little bit, and I'm like, wow, this guy's really fun. Calls me a pipsqueak, a peewee, a liberal journalist, and warns all the boys on Twitter not to do interviews with me. I don't even do fucking interviews. This is my own show, dipshit. So he doesn't even know who the hell I am, has no clue. And he's kind of making fun of me for not really having a following and having a little show. I have nearly as many Twitter followers as this fuckhead. And I think if somebody said if you Google me, my shit comes up quicker than his. So anyway, the whole thing was kind of amusing and funny, and I never even was mad once about it. I was just kind of like messing with him, and he says the most out there shit, including he got mad when I joked about Marty Jannetty's daughter. And he goes, "What's wrong, high and mighty? You know, you're on your high and mighty high horse there because you've never had a cousin that's confused you sexually." Like, this is what he says. And I'm like, "No, I'm not attracted to my cousin. I don't want to bang any of my cousins." And no, not at all. And the fact that he thought I was the crazy one. I'm on my high horse because I don't want to fuck a family member. I'm just normal and I'm well adjusted, and I found the whole thing incredibly amusing and couldn't believe what I was reading at times. But I guess that makes me a liberal pipsqueak journalist, I think is what he called me. So anyway, the whole thing was really fun. I don't get into Twitter beefs often, but this was one that just amused me, didn't even piss me off. Like I said, didn't block the guy. He's welcome to tweet me again if he wants. I don't care. The whole thing was just kind of fun and amusing, and some of you saw it on Twitter, so you wanted me to mention it, so there you go. Let's get back into Survivor Series. Yeah, so some of you saw this. I'm just now reading some of the comments. So some of you saw the Twitter feud. Yeah, Marty needs help. Exactly, that's my point. Marty needs help. And he just disgusts me sometimes, you know. That's why I get so mad. And you guys have seen me out of me in the past. You guys know, those of you who've been listening to me for a long time, I had an angry side. Every now and then I would rant on Hulk Hogan, but it was just the inner wrestling fan being so overwhelmingly disappointed in people that used to be my hero, acting like a complete fucking moron. And it pissed me off, and I think I didn't deal with it well. Now, I think I'm more mature to where I'm more like, okay, I hope they get help, and I might, you know, make a little joke on Twitter or something like that. But as far as my anger, really angry over-the-top rants, I have no reason to, like, hate these people. I'm just disappointed in them, and I wish they would do better. And I wish they would get a hold on their lives. They're wrestlers, they're legends. A lot of them had great careers, and to see them flush it down the toilet saddens me. And that's really where all of this comes from. So if it comes across as disrespectful or something like that, like, you know, Jim the Jobber Fuckbrain called me earlier on, then, you know, I'm sorry for that. It's really not meant to be, like, disrespectful. It's meant to be, like, angry. Like, dude, come on, get your shit together. We all admired you when we were younger. We watched you. We watched your whole career. Don't flush your life down the toilet. You have a lot to be proud of. What the fuck? So whenever I get mad at a wrestler and whenever I make fun of them for being morons, it's generally based on good intentions, is basically my point there. So this guy got really pissed off and offended. And boy, when I called him a jobber and all that, and I don't know, he was talking a lot of nonsense, but it was fun, and I didn't care. So anyway, get off my pedestal already. Jeez, okay, I'll get off of my pedestal. Yeah. Anyway, where did I leave off on Survivor Series? We talked about Charlotte tapping out Alexa Bliss with the figure 8 last, right? So let's move on to Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles. You guys ready? That match was really good, and I was frightened at first because it was all Brock for like the first 10 minutes, and it was resembling what Brock did to John Cena at SummerSlam, and I think that we were all praising WWE's decision to book this match because we knew that AJ would give him a good match. But if it was Brock kicking his ass for 15 minutes and then F5ing him, you could have just done that with Jinder Mahal. So I was getting worried, like really worried. And then AJ made the comeback of all comebacks, kicked ass out there. First of all, he was selling his ass off for Brock, and Brock sold for him. Yes, he did. I don't care what you say, he did. He limped his ass back to the locker room after the victory, up the ramp there, really selling the knee or the leg or whatever AJ did damage to. And, you know, Brock, I think both guys, it was nice to see Brock do business. I know that he won, but I thought this match was a lot better than Brock versus Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania, how disappointing and underwhelming that match turned out to be. This one was a lot better. And I think, you know, you can definitely consider this match being better than CM Punk at SummerSlam in 2013. I would actually like to go back and take a look at that match and compare the two. I enjoyed this match as much as I remember enjoying Punk versus Brock. So I thought it was great. Yeah, a lot of you agree. AJ put Brock through a hell of a match. He did. Hit all of his moves. Nailed the 450. Hit a phenomenal forearm, I believe. Almost put him in the I just spit beer out. Almost put him in the, what's it called? The Styles Clash. Put him in the Calf Crusher. I think that's when Brock really injured his knee. And really had a couple of close near falls on Brock there a couple of times. In the end, you knew Brock was going to win. It was kind of spoiled because at this point, SmackDown was up 3-2. So with the 5-on-5 match still to come in the main event, if AJ would have beaten Brock, that would have put SmackDown up 4-2, and then it doesn't matter what happens in the 5-on-5 match because SmackDown is already going to win overall. And that clearly matters to them because after each match, they have the little scoreboard up there, like we've seen, which I haven't been doing a good job of using these. But anyway, I didn't really like the fact that the match was kind of spoiled a little bit, but I knew, AJ really wasn't going to win anyway. I didn't think it really mattered, so I was willing to let it go, and then I got a little bit nervous, like I said at the beginning, when Brock was kicking ass so much, but once they kicked up the pace and AJ started going off, yeah, I might be. Couple of questions in the comments there. I thought the match turned out to be really good, and AJ, man, he put up a good fight, and that's all I wanted out of AJ. I said that right from the beginning. I'm like, AJ's probably going to come ever so close to defeating Brock, and then once he does, the fans are going to respect him regardless. He doesn't really need to win this match. He's in his 40s. Brock Lesnar has defeated Goldberg and Braun Strowman, pinned Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I don't think AJ is going to beat Brock at Survivor Series when they're building him probably for WrestleMania to drop it to good old Roman Reigns. So a loss to AJ right in the middle of that, I didn't think really made sense. All I wanted was the match to be good, and it was. Fucking barn burner, man. They killed it out there. What'd you guys think? I'm going to go back and read some comments here. Yeah, Jack Daniels. No, I'm not drinking any Jack Daniels. Just beer tonight. I had a few of them during Survivor Series as well. You had to. It was 4 fucking hours plus 2 hours on the pre-show. They want to book me versus Jumpin' Jim at WrestleMania 34. He's literally about 6 times my size. He looks like fucking Moondog Rex 8 Bastion Booger. I can't even describe it. Just enormous guy. Big bloated fucking angry jobber. So, the hell with him. It would be like Vader and... who'd Vader just wrestle? Who's the guy that he had the Twitter beef with? And then they booked a match? Ospreay, right? That's pretty much what that match would be like if we faced each other at WrestleMania. Yeah, you guys are agreeing. Brock did sell his ass off. That was nice to see. I was worried. I was really worried. So, because AJ is a little guy, but Brock, what we've always heard behind the scenes, Brock is a super crazy businessman, I think, when it comes to money and what he wants and the terms and conditions. But I don't think Brock cares too much about his character. I don't think he cares if he goes out there and loses or anything like that. He just wants it to be meaningful. He wants it to draw. He wants it to make money. And I don't think he has that type of politicalness to him that guys like Hulk Hogan had or Bret Hart had, or guys that would just fight tooth and nail for what their character should do. Brock Lesnar, as long as he believes it to be the right thing, he'll do it. And it didn't really matter that AJ Styles was half of his size. Can you imagine Hogan taking on somebody like AJ Styles in his prime? He's refused to do that before. So I think Brock always, will do business when it's right. He doesn't mind losing. Look what he did last year with Bill Goldberg. Got squashed, 25 seconds? Yeah, and you guys agree. Yeah, I just mentioned Dean Ambrose earlier on. I'm not saying Brock hasn't had some horrible matches. He has. And this is the best match easily he's had all year, and the best match he's probably had since CM Punk, and may have even had a good chance of surpassing the quality of that match. I really enjoy it. So, and I haven't seen too many complaints, as I look on Twitter and stuff. Not a lot of people were worried about AJ getting buried. That was kind of nice to see. I saw a few, RIP AJ Styles tweets and stuff like that, but you can't consider this a burial. You can't consider this to be a ridiculous decision. I mean, come on. Look at what Brock has done all year. Look at the guys he's defeated. AJ Styles, while awesome, probably my favorite performer on the roster, I don't really have any issue with him not beating Brock. It wouldn't have really made sense at the time. And he just lost to Finn Balor last month. So if that's not a burial, then him losing to Brock is definitely not one. And there's certainly no shame in taking the beast to the limit and losing. It's not like you're a jobber now. You are still working at the top of the card. And Brock, for all we know, might have, handpicked AJ Styles. I still don't know what the true story is behind them dropping Jinder, other than the fact that they might have said, holy shit, this match is going to suck. But it might have been Brock saying, hey, can I work with that guy instead? If you're going to bring me in for a pay-per-view, can I work with somebody that fans give a shit about? Otherwise, what's the point of me even being there and burning an appearance just for me to wrestle, a guy that you're trying to get over, a new champion, and then beat him? It does nothing for him, So who knows what the decision was there, if it was all WWE's idea, if Brock had a hand in it, I don't know. Don't really care. At the end of the day, we got AJ versus Brock, and it was everything that we had hoped it would be. And I think it definitely lived up to the hype. And it was probably, would you guys agree that it was the best match on the card? I mean, looking back here, Shield and New Day, the 5-on-5 women's match, Corbin, Miz, Usos in the bar, Charlotte and Asuka, and the 5-on-5 match that we would see later on. I think Brock and AJ stole the show tonight. They really did. So, up until this point, all the wrestling was solid. The women's match seemed clusterfucky. I thought that the Shield and the New Day could have been better. I thought the Usos and the bar could have been a little bit better. And Charlotte and Alexa was kind of exactly what I thought it would be. So Brock and AJ coming through, I think, really helped save this pay-per-view, because it was going to get a lot worse. I'm sorry, the 5-on-5 match was nowhere near as good as last year's, and didn't even go as long. I thought we were going to have an hour-long match here. The show ended like 15 minutes early, and we saw everything in it. I mean, we still don't know what the hell was going on at the end. Dude, Richard Hornuts, get to the damn 5-on-5. Look, I'm only 26 minutes in here. I'm probably going to talk for over an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours if I'm feeling saucy, although my stream, again, only says okay instead of good. Hopefully you guys can see and hear me okay, but don't worry. I'll get to it, man, and it's coming up right now. 5-on-5. Are you ready? Are you ready? What did we see? What was the major things that we saw? Everybody kind of got involved. I did notice that John Cena pinned and eliminated Samoa Joe. Am I right? Kurt Angle eliminated John Cena. That was kind of cool. And the ending came down to Shane McMahon by himself. He was against Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, and Triple H. Now, up until that point, the match was good. We saw all sorts of crazy shit. Braun Strowman got put through a table, I believe, on the outside of the ring. He was knocked out of commission. We saw some decent interaction, some decent wrestling, but it didn't come close to the level of excitement and all the action that we got last year. I mean, last year's match was incredible, and this match came nowhere close to as good as that. And then the ending kind of made it even worse. I was kind of hoping, some of you are talking about jumping ships and to SmackDown, some guys doing that. I thought we were going to see a defection. I thought we were going to see Jason Jordan show up. We saw a promo from Jordan backstage earlier on, and he kind of was dropping some hints that he was going to turn heel on this thing, because he's so fucking whiny, just like he was last week, kind of, expressing his disappointment, and you're thinking to yourself, well, if they're going to have SmackDown win, this is the perfect way. If they can figure out a way to get Braun Strowman out of there, then Jason Jordan can come in there and turn on his dad, and SmackDown can get the victory. So I thought we were going to see that. I thought we were going to see possibly a defection, especially when it came down to 3-on-1. I thought one guy was going to rip off the Raw shirt, and it was going to be SmackDown. But we didn't see that. We saw nothing like that. And then Shane McMahon, found himself in there at the end with all three of those guys, and then bizarrely, Triple H turns on Kurt Angle, hits him with the pedigree, and allows Shane McMahon to pin him. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, don't know what that's about. Don't know if Triple H is jumping to SmackDown. He can't even jump brands, can he? So I didn't know what to make of that. And then to make matters worse, he goes over there and stands by Shane McMahon. Then he stares at Braun Strowman, who looks confused, doesn't know what Shane McMahon is up to. Finally helps Shane McMahon to his feet, and then turns on Shane, hits him with the pedigree, and pins him for the victory. So Triple H and Braun Strowman were the sole survivors, as the ring announcer put it. And after the match, the two of them start getting into it. Braun Strowman doesn't know what's going on. The fans don't know what's going on. The commentators are explaining it like, oh, Triple H wants to be the one to pin Shane McMahon himself. He wants to do it, so fine. And then Braun Strowman grabs a hold of Triple H, backs him up in the corner, puts his hand around his throat and says, if you ever do that again, I'll fucking kill you, or whatever. Triple H tries to fight back, tries to pedigree Braun Strowman, and then Braun eventually nails him with a power slam. And is that how the show went off the air? I started walking away at that point because I was trying to get ready for the live stream, so once I saw that, I'm like, well, I guess that's it. But the whole finishing sequence was weird. What the hell was the point of Triple H turning on Angle? And then why are they teasing a Triple H versus Braun Strowman feud, of all things? Do we even want to see that? And what did that all mean? You know, Survivor Series went off the air with Braun Strowman hitting a power slam on Triple H. Like, what the hell does that even mean? And what the hell are we seeing here? I have no idea. No clue. Makes no sense. What do you guys think? Who won Raw versus SmackDown? Raw won 4-3. Like I said, that was the only match I predicted incorrectly. I thought SmackDown was going to win, and they were also going to win 4-3. I'm checking the channel here to see how many people we have watching right now. Oh, not bad. 322, pretty good for post pay-per-view commentary where everybody's on YouTube. I know there's a lot of people doing live shows right now. Let's get this out of here. But yeah, I'm gonna go back and read your comments on this 5-on-5, see what you guys thought. Yeah, Triple H was left in the ring as it went off the air. Exactly. So, like, what was the point of that? You know, I don't understand. Triple H, I thought, was kind of a fill-in. All of this shit was just changed last minute. And, you know, we were lucky that it worked out as well as it did because we got a great AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar match. But we knew this clusterfuck of clusterfucks wasn't going to end well because they were announcing John Cena last minute on SmackDown, which doesn't even make sense because he's a free agent. Why SmackDown? Why announce that on Twitter? Why on social media? You know, we don't know what's going on with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They were sent home from that tour. They were on the kickoff show tonight on Survivor Series, and they're a big part of SmackDown right now. You would think they would have a bigger role, so they're not around. Rusev wasn't even on the show. And then over on Raw, you've got Kurt Angle, a part-timer in the ring, wrestling this match. You've got Triple H showing up out of nowhere last week and randomly saying that he's going to be the 5th member, which technically makes sense because his wife is, you know, the GM of Raw or the commissioner of Raw, whatever the hell. So I guess that part makes sense, but he's got problems with Kurt Angle, and now they're teasing the Kurt Angle and Triple H match. If they're not already teasing a Strowman and Triple H match, I'm fucking dizzy. This is not going to nearly be enough beer. I'm going to need some more. I just got dizzy saying all that shit. You see what I mean? None of this made sense. So now that I talk about it, I'm kind of pissed off because, you know, the pay-per-view was good wrestling for no title matches, no title changes anyway. I thought the quality of wrestling was fine, but the ending just made no sense. What were they thinking when they were writing the shit up? This couldn't have been the plan for weeks because this makes no sense. This could not have been what they planned to do when the matches were first announced at the beginning of the month. This has to be, they literally put this together over lunch, over steak, maybe some asparagus. I don't know, but it just seemed like you didn't know which direction they were going in. It was hard to follow it. You didn't know what the hell was going on. And then Triple H and Strowman getting into it in the end, you know, what gives? And now if they're building to Triple H and Kurt Angle, you kind of think that match would be WrestleMania. I don't want to see that at WrestleMania, but that might be what WWE has in mind. So fine, if that's what they have in mind, then what do you do for the next 5 months until WrestleMania? You know, is Stephanie going to fire Kurt Angle on Raw now? Why would she fire him? Raw won. So maybe he gets another chance. Maybe he gets a pardon. But if she did fire him, then I can see that leading to a match with Triple H. So maybe, you know, Stephanie spares Kurt Angle, lets him live to fight another day, but we have to sit through her ridiculing him every fucking week on TV and cutting his nuts off and being the bitch that only Stephanie can be every single week until they finally decide to do the firing angle, and then she slaps him and kicks him in the balls, and then Triple H challenges him at WrestleMania. Is that where they're going here? You know, they just went there with Mick Foley. Mick Foley couldn't have a match, though. Kurt Angle can. And that would be highly disappointing, you know, unless they knock this match out early, unless they do it at Royal Rumble, and then Kurt works with somebody else at WrestleMania, maybe has a retirement match. You know, that's a big possibility. I would like to see that, but I don't know. Yeah, Triple H with Strowman. They could do that too. My point exactly. We don't know. We don't know what the hell they're doing. Let me read some of these comments here, see what you guys thought of this. Yeah, a lot of show was okay, but main event sucked kind of comments, which was a shame because, oh, the commentary. Thank you very much, Benoit fan 316. I do agree with you. The commentary was horrible. 5, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Commentators, announcers, 5 of them at once, talking at once, and one of those 5 is Booker fucking T. So I would be willing to pay $12.99 a month on the WWE Network if you had like a not Booker T or a with Booker T or without Booker T option in the audio settings. That would easily be worth my extra $2 a month. Poor Booker, bless his heart, love him, legend, one of my favorite wrestlers ever, but dude cannot commentate at all. He's just he's all over the place. He doesn't know what he's saying. Nobody else knows what he's saying either. And sometimes he's very entertaining, and sometimes he's very disruptive. And so when you have 5 guys, and then one of them is Booker T, it's a cluster, man. I wanted to watch this thing on mute, but yeah. I mean, when you get ragged on by Byron Saxton, you've got some problems. Lino Gino, you are out of here. You cannot say that. Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's disappointing. I did already. I already did. I got a great fan base, I think. You guys are all, for the most part, pretty respectful. You're only going to find a handful of assholes here or there. I know you can never get rid of those guys, and I'm fine with that, and I accept that. And I accept that responsibility as a YouTuber, that you're going to have to deal with idiots. But it's just so funny that the mere mention of Booker T's name immediately triggers racist comments in the chat. Grow the fuck up. Jesus, it has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with one person being annoying. I literally do not care what race they are. It has nothing to do with it. Just stupid that you can't figure that out. David Otunga, thank you for bringing that up. He might be in some trouble. Now, you guys are going to have to fill me in on this, because I only read this a couple days ago, and I've not read anything since. So I don't know if any new information has come out. But, his famous wife and him apparently are splitting up. She might have had an affair on him, and then I think she filed some sort of complaint on him for some potential domestic abuse. I don't know the story there, but I think he was supposed to be on the kickoff panel because his name was announced on WWE Network, but he wasn't there. So he might be in a little bit of trouble, and if now he's no longer attached to her, because the WWE loves that, he might be released soon. So I hope he didn't do anything shady or shitty there. I hope he didn't hit this poor girl, but obviously some problems there. She might have been cheating on him, not surprising. Hollywood couples and famous people cheat on each other. That's what they do. Yeah, they mentioned Harlem Heat. I saw that. Just reading some more. No, I don't. I like Shucky Ducky. I like Booker T. Just don't really like him as a commentator so much. Because sometimes I think he just says whatever is on his mind. And that's all right, guys. Don't worry about it. He's gone. We don't have many of those around. Every now and then you're going to get some asshole, but big deal, right? Jesus. Yeah, and a lot of you are saying, complaining about the Kurt Angle and Triple H match potentially at WrestleMania. I agree. I just think that's not the match I want to see. Kurt Angle, how many matches does he have left? There should be a lot of guys that they could put him in there with, or something that they could think of. Jason Jordan, we know is going to happen at some point, so maybe Jason Jordan gets in the middle of that. Maybe Jason Jordan turns heel, becomes Triple H's protege instead of Kurt Angle. What do you think about that? That would be better than him being the sappy son of Kurt Angle, would it not? I mean, every week this fucker comes out on TV and he's so goddamn depressing and he's so whiny and he's such a menacing beast. He's good looking, he's big, he can literally throw opponents around. And yet, he sounds like such a little bitch every time he's on the mic. So if he was aligned with Triple H instead, he was a heel. Triple H taught him some dirty rules, taught him how to cut a promo like a heel and all that stuff, behind the scenes and in storyline. I think that would be a lot better than what they're doing currently. So maybe Jason Jordan gets involved in this. I don't know, but I think we're probably going to get both of those matches. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you think we would get Jason Jordan versus Kurt Angle and Kurt Angle versus Triple H? Maybe Jason Jordan takes on Triple H first as a babyface, maybe gets beat by him, turns heel somewhere down the line after that. I don't know. I really don't know. just freestyling here. Cena sucked tonight. You know what, to be honest, I didn't really see a lot of what Cena did because I was watching the match on one monitor and then on the other one I was kind of prepping for this, getting this my ducks in a row for the live stream, so I didn't really see what Cena did. in the match. But I'm glad that he got eliminated, because for a while there, I was nervous because I think it was 5 against 3. I think Raw had all of their guys. And on the SmackDown side, we had John Cena, Randy Orton, and Shane McMahon. And I'm like, fuck, are we going to see this? In 2017, late 2017, we're going to see John Cena and Randy Orton team up to beat 5 guys. I was going to lose my shit. So I was really happy that John Cena took the pin there. He's been taking a lot of pins in the last couple of years. So he got out of there, and then Randy Orton was eliminated, and that left Shane McMahon all by himself. So I guess even though the finish and the ending that we got tonight was all discombobulated, it's probably better than John Cena and Randy Orton kicking the hell out of 5 guys. Wouldn't you agree? Where was Kane? Exactly. Where the hell was Kane? I mean, we thought we would see so much. We did see Owens and Sami Zayn. I should mention that. They did come out to try to sabotage SmackDown. They kind of did. So we kind of expected that. But I thought we would get Kane. You know, Kane was thrown through the ring last week on Raw by Braun Strowman. Maybe he would come out and get Braun Strowman eliminated. I thought that would have been a great way to get Braun Strowman out of the match without having him really having to lose or get pinned. He could be counted out. You know, he could be fighting or brawling with Kane right through the audience outside of the arena. And, you know, then he's out of there without having to lose. So I really thought SmackDown had all sorts of opportunities here to win this match. And I'm surprised they went in this direction. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't remember her name earlier. Jennifer Hudson. I was thinking, I'm like, what is Jennifer something? Jennifer Hudson. That's why I did not say her name. Enzo is an actual star. He's getting there. I'm starting to become a believer. You know, rewind 2 months ago and listen to my commentaries and listen to me trash this fucker. And now I'm like one of his biggest supporters. So I'm never going to ever claim that I'm right. My mind can easily be changed at any time. I went from being heel on The Miz to being babyface of The Miz, heel on him again. I used to hate The Miz at first. I used to love The Miz at first. I used to defend him back in like 2011 when he first got the title. Fans were shitting their pants. But previously, I had been hearing fans say, anybody else but John Cena, Randy Orton, we're so sick of those guys. So I'm like, well, there you go. There's somebody else. Fans hated it. And I always defended him. But then I kind of realized how bad he really did suck. Didn't like him. Went a span of like 2 or 3 years there where The Miz made me vomit. And now I'm back on Team Miz again. So I reserve the right in my commentary history here to change my mind anytime I want. War Games, I'm getting to that. Just trying to take it slow. Trying to talk about Survivor Series first. You know, just got to slow things down. I'm new to this live streaming idea, so when I'm trying to read a bunch of comments at once and talk about the pay-per-view simultaneously, you know, I tend to get sidetracked or whatever. But we're still talking about Survivor Series. I'll mention War Games here, though, in just a little bit. And it was good. What did you guys like better? Did you like War Games or Survivor Series better? I think everybody is going to type in all capital letters, War Games. I'll wait for it. Here it comes. Yeah, Corey Graves marks out on Bobby Roode's entrance. So do I. Yeah, that was disappointing too. Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura got eliminated really early, leaving all veterans in there. I mean, the average age of both teams was like 38 years old or something. So we had a lot of old people in this match. And Bobby Roode and Shinsuke were the only newer guys. But there was really no young ones at all except for Braun Strowman. So, and Finn Balor's not even that young. What's Finn Balor, mid-30s? So he's no spring chicken either. Yeah, WWE's been doing that a little bit. They'll mention the history between guys, you know, in their Japan history, I should say. So the fact that they referenced that with Shinsuke and Finn Balor, I thought was cool. They'll do that sometimes. So, War Games, you didn't even see it. What are you thinking, man? I laid in bed last night super late. I didn't even turn War Games on until about 1 o'clock in the morning and watched most of it. And by the final match, I was really starting to fade, but I got the gist of what took place. Just pardon me while I check all my settings. We're all still good, right? We're up and we're looking good. You guys can hear me, see me. No complaints. All right, just wanted to check. All right. What else you guys want to talk about SmackDown or Survivor Series? I'm sorry. What do you think we're going to see tomorrow night on Raw? I think I'm going to be home tomorrow, actually. I should be up live tweeting. No promises there. But right now, I think I might be. Tuesday night I will not be, and then my commentary will be up normal time. As a matter of fact, maybe I can get it up early. Maybe I can get it up early for you guys right before the Thanksgiving holiday, those of you who are in America, that is. And if I can get it up like early Wednesday morning, that's what I'm going to shoot for. Worst case scenario, it will be up at normal time, but I'm going to try to get it up a few hours after SmackDown. John Cena is not a cancer. Get over yourselves. Come on. Yeah. Sorry, reading everything. I got so much stuff to read. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Let's go over to Twitter. Are you guys tweeting me any questions? Oh yeah, you are. Do I think there will be? I'm just going to answer a couple Twitter questions real quick, if any of you have any. Do I think there will be a women's Royal Rumble this year? No, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't think so. You don't know what pay-per-view I was watching. I think I've been pretty fair on the pay-per-view. I've talked about the good parts. I've talked about the bad parts. I don't know what you wanted out of me there. You know. Yeah, a lot of questions. What I'm drinking, just a beer, IPA, local, like always. Okay. All right, so nothing too... Oh, you guys are asking me some random stuff on Twitter. They had a real chance, Notorious AJKO on Twitter, they had a real chance to establish the NXT guys as top stars, and they blew it. Oh, now I know what you mean. I thought you meant like NXT guys invading or showing up. I'm like, what are you talking about? I get it. You're talking about like Shinsuke and Bobby Roode and guys like that in the 5-on-5 match. I agree. I was kind of disappointed they were eliminated so quick. I don't really care that they were eliminated. I wouldn't have cared if they didn't survive necessarily, but maybe to put up a better fight, maybe to be one of the last people in the ring at least, would have been nice or at least make it late into the match before either one of them got eliminated. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what they're there for, right? Shinsuke Nakamura has gotten multiple title matches since being on the roster, and he's fallen short. Bobby Roode, since arriving on SmackDown, being a babyface, it's not going too well. So this could have been their chance. You know, I'm not saying it would have worked either way, even if one of them would have survived tonight. I don't know how much it would really do for him, but I do agree they should have done more. So you are correct, sir. Thank you for the plug, Bryce Johnson. All right. All right, I'm going to go back over to YouTube. Let's go back into the comments here. Yeah, okay, good. It's coming, guys, I promise. It'll be coming here in just the next couple of minutes. I'll talk about War Games. There were some awesome matches on that. So, are there spam comments in chats? 100% adult dating. Check my profile for link. Ooh, that sounds so exciting. I don't think so, Linda. F off. Oh, there you go. There's something else I need to talk about. Thank you, W. Turner, in the live chat. Will AJ retain against Jinder Mahal on SmackDown? So Jinder is getting that rematch. I kind of thought maybe it would come early. I thought maybe WWE could still go back to their original plan of Jinder Mahal versus Brock. Glad they didn't. But now Jinder has a title match on SmackDown 2 days after AJ Styles is in the fight of his life with a legit fighting beast. Goddamn polar bear. Grizzly bear. He literally fights. 48 hours later, he's got to get in the ring and defend the title. So if they are going to put the belt back on Jinder, this is the show it has to happen on. Are you guys all going to click off me for saying that? Sorry. Trust me, I don't want Jinder to win. I respect the fuck out of AJ Styles. You know that. He's amazing, and I'm just blown away at his age, how many years he's been in the business, and he's performing at this level. He's doing things that 25-year-olds do. He's great in the ring. He's believable. He's not just flips. He actually has credibility to his offense. And he's just a professional, man. That's probably why guys like Brock want to work with him. So I'm not saying I would be happy if AJ lost, but if he drops that belt on SmackDown, I'm not going to be shocked. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, and the India tour is playing a role in this. I think they're going on tour right now, maybe next week or something like that, so they might want to have the belt back on Jinder for that. So it makes a lot of sense. But excuse me here. I'm going to get a beer. You guys want anything? I do have some bourbon for those of you who are asking. Otherwise, I do have water. I've got Gatorade, I've got wine, I've got beer. I think I even have some Doritos. Anybody want a Dorito? All right. I'm coming. Now that I got a fresh beer, we can talk about War Games, which I've been promising and promising and promising. There we go. Am I back? Okay, I'm back on. Shit confuses me sometimes. Oh, there's Brock back again. Sorry, just trying to figure out how to get back to you. You can see me. Hello. All right, back to business here. Current AJ is 2000 Shawn Michaels. I like that. I agree. I have like the same type of respect for AJ Styles in the ring as Shawn Michaels. Like, I literally love watching him perform. The cool thing about Shawn Michaels is you never just sit there like, fucking Shawn Michaels match, let's just watch it. You know, he was always just really fun to watch. Didn't really matter who he wrestled. And I think AJ kind of has those same qualities. Would have been an awesome match. If they could have put that together, I'm glad Shawn stayed retired. But if they could have put AJ versus Shawn together, imagine how good that would have been. If they would have pulled that off at the Alamo Dome last year or whatever. Boy, every time I ask you guys if you want something from the kitchen, you all say you do. You guys can all come over. What if I threw my address up here? Throw it in your Google Maps. I'll give you like a couple hours to get here. I mean, I have a condo, but there's room for us. Man, we'll have fun, man. We'll rewatch Survivor Series and we'll just rag about it. And we'll live stream the whole thing to YouTube. Me and like 3,000 of you sitting here making fun of the pay-per-view. Hurry up. AJ needs a haircut. Yep. All right. So anyway, you guys ready now to start talking about War Games? I'll reserve the right to go back to SmackDown, or I keep saying SmackDown, to go back to Survivor Series. So we'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit, or we'll go back to it. So let's talk about War Games now. Let me pull up my results, because I don't even remember what match opened the show. I'm pretty sure it was... Oh, yeah, Lars beat Cassius Ohno. Now, that match was a lot better than I expected it to be. And I thought... I like that Ohno can move. I just love watching him work, because for his size, he's kind of a bigger, bulkier guy. But, man, he can move around that ring so quick, and he's so good at those strikes. And they had a really good finishing sequence, too. That's what I remember liking about that match the most, was the very end, just with all the shots. And eventually, you know, they were going to put Lars over in that. And he's kind of a grizzly-looking guy. He almost has that, I don't know, combination of like a Grizzly Smith, Gorilla Monsoon type look to it. I can't put my finger or place it, you know, perfectly, but he kind of reminds me of somebody like that. And he's big and he's athletic. And I think he can be a pretty good monster. He's got some work to do, but, you know, we knew they were going to put him over here, and he's working kind of towards the top of the card and should probably inch his way up. But I don't know if he can be the level of like a Braun Strowman type of guy, but right now he's definitely being presented well, I think, as like a menacing beast. And he was tossing fucking Ohno all over that ring. So I did like the match, though. I thought it was better than what I thought it would be. For two big kind of beefy guys like that, they put on a good show. But Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream, holy crap. Now, I have seen a few Aleister Black matches, only seen a couple of Velveteen Dream matches. So I'm not totally familiar with him. You guys are going to have to fill me in. His look is very crazy, very flamboyant, very over the top. I like it. He kind of reminded me of a cross between a Shawn Michaels and a Rick Rude, because he took the chaps off just like Shawn used to when he would do a striptease, and then he had the tights, like the airbrush tights, like Rick Rude used to do. And I know the commentators made mention of that. So you guys have to fill me in on Velveteen's gimmick. Is that what he's going for? Is he kind of like, he's influenced by guys like that, clearly. And damn, the guy can work. I mean, I've noticed that. I've noticed his working ability in a couple of matches that I've seen him in. But of all the matches on the show, in the ring, this one was the best. I mean, War Games was a ton of fun, but I thought one-on-one Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream had me on the edge of my seat. That DDT spot was so brutal near the end of the match. How awesome was that? I mean, there was a lot of spots there, but that was one of my favorites. The only thing I didn't like, though, excuse me, while I get comfortable, is I want to say that Velveteen Dream did a similar spot that Cassius Ohno did in the first match. They did that thing where they kind of flip over the top rope and then hang on the outside of the ring on the ring apron. That's a very unique spot. And when I saw it happen in two back-to-back matches, I'm thinking to myself how different the business is now compared to how it used to be. I mean, back in the day, if the main event, if the finish was going to be a pile driver, then nobody would use the pile driver. on the entire card. Now, not only are we having regular moves being used every single match, but we're having unique moves like this being used, or unique spots like this used in every match. And, it's nothing new. It's an old complaint. It's been going on for years. But when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's kind of like page one stuff, when you're learning to wrestle. Don't do everybody else's shit right after they do it. So that was the only thing I noticed there. Ember Moon, I predicted that match correctly too. By the way, for a guy that watches no NXT, I predicted every match right on this card except for the title match. And Ember Moon won the Fatal 4-Way. It was Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, and Kairi Sane, right, in the 4-Way. And I had a feeling that this would be a good chance to put the belt on Ember Moon, because even though you want to put the belt on Kairi Sane in the future, clearly she's going to be the next Asuka for that brand. A lot of those other girls have paid their dues too. And Ember Moon is one of those. She's got a really fun finisher, the Eclipse, whatever the hell it's called, the stunner off the top rope or whatever. And she's had a lot of good matches with Asuka already. And, put her time in, worked hard, paid her dues. She's not Charlotte, but she's good. And I think she's got potential. And do you guys think that she's better than Naomi? Would you say Ember Moon is better than Naomi? I want an honest opinion here, because I really don't know. I'm curious what you guys thought. Why do I get weird ass like spam dating sites in here and shit? This is the first for me. My first couple of Q&As or live streams, I didn't get any of those. Let's check our audience while we're talking about Ember Moon. But I was happy that she won, because I thought they have all the time in the world to put the belt on Kairi Sane. They can put it on her in the future. And plus, if she's going to win, I want to see her win it in a one-on-one type of environment. I think that would be better. So maybe the next takeover. Oh, we've dropped a bit. 250 of us watching right now. So not bad. But I understand. I got a lot of competition out there. A lot of people are running live shows right now. So regardless of how many of you are here, I want to thank you for being here and stopping by and participating in the chat. One good Wes in the comments. Naomi and Ember Moon are on par with one another. That's good to hear. I kind of feel the same way. So I just thought it was a good victory for Ember Moon. Some of you wanted Peyton Royce. I can see that. Nikki Cross I like. She reminds me of a little female British bulldog. For some reason, she kind of looks like him a little bit. Or she looks like a young Davey Boy Smith. And that's not an insult in any way. I think Nikki Cross is quite cute at times. But she looks like Davey Boy did when he was really young, 19 years old. And I thought it could have easily gone to her, because she's had some good matches and a good little run in NXT. So if it didn't go to her, I would say Ember Moon was the most deserving there. And now they can put the belt on Kairi Sane in the future, maybe even at the Royal Rumble takeover in a couple of months. Otherwise, have her hold it until WrestleMania, drop it at that takeover to Kairi Sane, and then show up on Raw, on the SmackDown or Raw after WrestleMania. So, or show up on the main roster, I should say. I want to ask you guys about the Asuka jumping in and presenting Ember Moon the belt. I like that. I thought that was a really nice touch, but it almost looked like it was ad-lib, or it was script or not scripted. Asuka kind of showed up there. William Regal walked into the ring with the belt, and then Asuka, who was in the audience, a lot of main roster people were in the audience. Asuka was there. Maybe Alexa Bliss. I know Kevin Owens was there. Samoa Joe was there. So I don't know if she hopped the fence there without permission, or if they planned to have her present the belt to Ember Moon the whole time. But if they did, they should have advertised that. They should have said the winner will be presented the title by the former NXT champion Asuka. There's no reason not to advertise that. Maybe they did. Maybe maybe I didn't know. But to me, the way Asuka jumped in there and kind of looked around, and then Regal was like, okay, here, take the belt, give it to her, whatever. And it looked like it was something that wasn't planned all along. I could be wrong. Don't really know. But I thought it was interesting. What was next? So we had, here's the only match I got wrong. That's right. Andrade Cien Almas is the new NXT champion, and I'm a little bit worried because it looks like Drew McIntyre got injured, which sucks. I think it was a shoulder, but I haven't had a chance to even read any injury reports on him. Just when I watched the match, the way he was kind of favoring his arm, and then the finish kind of caught me off guard too. Almas hit him with that DDT at the end, but it wasn't one of those crazy, over-the-top spots where the whole crowd oohs and ahs, and then you get the big dramatic pinfall. The pinfall, I think, took the audience off guard. I think that they thought Drew McIntyre was going to kick out. So I think he was injured, and they might have had to call for the 3 count a little bit early. That's just my guess. But still very surprising that Almas won, and a lot of fans were happy. A lot of fans were happy about that. He's come a long way because there was a time where he was really low on the card. He had some issues. He stumbled a little bit there, and then now he's got the girl by his side. Seems to be reborn. Somebody made a comment on Twitter. If I could remember your name, I'd give you credit. But you said that he does Alberto Del Rio better than Del Rio does. And I agree. I'm happy for the kid. I think it's great. I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. I'm glad that he was NXT champion, and I was actually hoping that he would hold the belt for a little bit longer, and I predicted him to win. But I'm certainly not going to complain about Almas winning the title. Good for him. You need to make as many stars as you can down there, you know? The only thing that worries me is that Drew McIntyre's injury. Oh, biceps. Thank you very much, everybody. Shane McKeever, Luna Strife, Joshua Kiger, everybody talking about torn biceps. So that's probably going to need surgery, and that sucks. I don't even know what the recovery time on that is. I'm going to guess 6 months, maybe. I could be wrong. Oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that Drew would hold the belt and then maybe come to Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. Because a guy like Drew, he's not a guy that needs to be in the Performance Center every week. This guy's a seasoned veteran. He's been around a long time. He was once the chosen one in WWE already, won some singles belts there. He's a former IC champ, is he not? So this is a guy that doesn't need to spend 3 years in NXT developing himself. He's already developed. He was underutilized the first time around, went and made a name for himself on the independents, came back to NXT, won the title. You don't need to run with that forever. So it's a shame that he got injured, because with him dropping the belt now, assuming that was the original plan, which I think that it was, regardless of his injury, he could have come to Raw at the beginning of the year or SmackDown. And he would be an asset to either one of those brands. You know, they need some guys right now. So SmackDown might have been fun. See him feud with Jinder Mahal for the world title. I think that would have been fun if he was able to make it there. So unfortunately, Drew is going to miss WrestleMania. Not that he would have been on WrestleMania anyway. He probably still would have been on NXT. Although with him dropping the belt, who knows? But it's a shame. He's going to miss that weekend overall. If he wasn't working WrestleMania, he'd be working TakeOver. So either way, McIntyre's going to miss that payday, and that sucks for him. I was a fan of his. I mentioned in my last commentary a couple nights ago that he looks like Rick Rude to me. He reminds me of him. Yeah, he was also a tag team champion with Cody Rhodes in 2011. Thank you for that. Byzantium 2136. Minoru Mineta. I will watch Kevin Owens' 360 or 365 documentary. What's it called? I didn't know. I keep seeing previews for that. I need to watch that. Is that on the network now? Let's pull it up. I saw commercials for that. I thought it was a fucking DVD. Oh, yeah, 365. Yes, I will watch that. As a matter of fact, as soon as I'm done with this commentary, I'm going to chill out on the couch and I'm going to watch that for sure. Because now I don't have a video to edit tonight. How happy am I? Normally, after a pay-per-view, I got to bust out 30 quick minutes of commentary, and then I got to edit the shit and upload it to YouTube. So this is much, much easier. Yeah, so what do you guys think on the NXT side of things? Because you guys probably watch more than me. Is Velveteen Dream, is he going to eventually be a contender for the world title? And what about Aleister Black? Who will be next in line for Andrade Cien Almas, since he's probably not going to have a rematch now with Drew McIntyre? Without the injury, they would probably work again at the next set of NXT tapings, or maybe they might pre-advertise it 2 weeks down the line. Do it on an NXT show, or since Royal Rumble is only a couple of months away, they could have held off and done the match there. So now that they're not going to have that, who's next in line to feud with him? Assuming that McIntyre's injured, which all of you guys said that he was. I need to mention this. Thug Yoda Entertainment. Greg, did you have lag issues with the WWE Network? So fucking annoying. Yes, I did. And I have been very lucky with the WWE Network. I've never had any problems. I mean, when did they come? When did they start? February 2014? So we're going on 4 years now. I've never had a problem with the WWE Network. It's never went down on me. It's never crashed. I've had a few buffering issues from time to time, but nothing major. No major problems ever. So tonight was the first night that I experienced that. I actually did lose the feed to the Survivor Series a couple of times, and I've got a great internet. So sometimes when I see people bitching about the network not working, sometimes it could be your own internet connection. So it might be your own fault kind of thing. So normally I kind of ignore those, but I've got an amazing internet and I pay a shit ton of money for it. So if mine is not working, I feel that nobody's is, and a lot of people were complaining about that on Twitter, saying that the feed sucked. And then I'm like, yeah, me too. I was like raising my hand. I'm like, I'm having issues too. It's fucking me all up. So it wasn't really that bad though. All I missed about 10 minutes of maybe 8 minutes of the Charlotte and Alexa match. Other than that, I got back up on running, and I had 3 computers going. So if one went down, I tried to pull it up on the other. And then at one point, all 3 of them weren't working, and I tried to pull it up on my phone, and my phone wouldn't work. So I had a feeling it was across the board here. I was about to go turn it on one of my smart TVs until it came back up. So I know a lot of people were complaining about the lag and the issues. Some people said they had fine and didn't have any problems at all. So you guys agree with me. Some of you have really good internet and you had lag too. So I guess I wasn't the only one. But luckily it didn't cost me anything major. Just lost a few minutes, and it could have been a lot worse. I'm going to dread the day that my internet goes completely down, or the network goes completely down, or something, or we all experience some crazy problem. I really hope that doesn't happen. And I hope I don't have an internet issue. I hope, like, I have, right now I have AT&T Uverse. So if something happens to them and they go down one day, I just hope that's not on a Sunday, on a pay-per-view day, because I got commentaries to do. Yeah, some of you guys are commenting on your internet connection. You know, it's ranging from everything. It's ranging from no problems at all to a couple of hiccups here or there, or, you know, a complete total nightmare. So yeah, looks like we had a wide array of issues with the network. Where did I leave off on War Games? Let me go back to my notes. So that just leaves the War Games match. This was only a 5-match card, right? This was fun. Now, I will admit I need to go back and take a look at this again, because I was fading hard by the time this match came on. I had watched most of the matches in their entirety on TakeOver, so by the time I got to the War Games match, I was dozing off. But I got a good look at it, and what is the fella's name? Shit, it escapes me. The guy in Sanity with the huge gaff in the back of his head. My favorite image of the whole match was after the match, after Adam Cole got the pin on Eric Young. He's laying there like sprawled out on the ropes with this giant chunk taken out of the back of his head and blood just running down the back of his neck and his arm that's draped over, or he's leaning on his arm on like the bottom rope. I mean, he looked literally like he was shot in the back of the head. I thought that was a great visual. And they had a lot of fun. There was weapons out the ass there, so much drama. All 9 of those guys worked well. And it was a good finish there with Undisputed Era getting the victory there. I figured they would. It seemed like of the 3 teams involved, you know, Sanity, you know, just got established. They're tag champs. They beat, you know, Authors of Pain at the last TakeOver. Authors of Pain are kind of just thrown together with Roderick Strong and seemingly maybe on their way to the main roster at some point. So there's no reason for them to really win. It would have been a good opportunity to get Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish over in a big match and a big main event. And they did, and it all worked out, and I had no issues with it at all, and I thought it was a really fun match, despite there not being a roof on War Games. That kind of disappointed me. I don't know why WWE didn't want to put a roof on the cage. Maybe they feel that the Hell in the Cell is the only thing that needs a roof, because if you have... Alexander Wolf, thank you. I'm stupid. If you have a roof on War Games, isn't that technically a Hell in the Cell too, just smaller? So maybe they didn't want to, you know, confuse the fans, and maybe they wanted to use a little bit of logic, but since when do they give a shit about logic? So a little bummed out. Just the old school fan in me wanted the roof, but hey, they brought back War Games, and War Games was represented well. I mean, if you take all of the War Games matches in history, and there's been a lot, and then you throw this match in with it and try to rank them, this one's up there. The one we saw on Saturday night is up there. It really is. So I was proud of all the guys. I thought they worked their tails off, and very brutal, hard-hitting. Lots of blood was spilled, which is what War Games should be. And NXT gives us a little bit more blood here or there. We've seen that a few times, especially on these TakeOver shows. So I'm glad that they did that. I would have been really disappointed if, like, nobody got color. I mean, somebody's got to at least get a busted lip or something like that. I think Eric Young bled a little bit too. So the fact that they did all of that, they did War Games justice. And it's a good thing that this match was on NXT and not WWE, because if they would have put this match in WWE, made it a pay-per-view like Elimination Chamber or Hell in the Cell, you know it would have sucked. They would have fucked it up. It would have been horrible. The NXT guys, I think, are the only people underneath the WWE umbrella that could have made this match work. And I'm glad WWE had the, the ability to realize that, for lack of a better term. Let's read some more comments here as I'm reading Twitter, too, at the same time. Oh, that makes sense. They might not have had a roof on the cage because they wanted somebody to dive off of it. Very possible. Very possible. Yeah, I thought Wolf was dying too. I mean, just that image at the end. That was one of my favorite parts of the match. Despite everything that we saw, despite these guys killing themselves, there was just that final shot of Wolf laying there on the side of the ring, bleeding all over his arms. Just looked like he was a gunshot wound victim. And it all worked out pretty good with the 2 rings. I didn't know how WWE was going to feel about that. The 2 rings thing seems to me like something that Vince McMahon would hate. Just seems like, the way Vince is, he would hate that 2 ring setup. But it worked well, and I thought it worked really good in the War Games match itself. Yeah, and I don't know if that gash to Wolf was Hardway. I think that it was. I remember that. Sting Squad versus the Dangerous Alliance. That was a pretty good one, too. That was. Triple H said, Trash Talica 666. Triple H said War Games might be a yearly thing. Great, but it better stick around in NXT. How cool would that be? Like, don't ever bring War Games to Raw or SmackDown. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Ever. I think that being an annual NXT tradition, I would be all in favor of that. And, I mean, they're doing a lot of WCW throwbacks, this year. They're doing Starrcade. When is Starrcade? Is that next week? Or has that already happened? They're doing Starrcade in Greensboro coming up shortly. They're doing Clash of the Champions next month in December. Is that right? So I kind of like that. I miss some of these concepts. I miss some of these pay-per-view names. And I'm glad that they're bringing some of them back. Yeah, a lot of that Velveteen Dream. Everybody wants to hear me say his name. And I liked Aleister Black's promo after the match. That was awesome. Next week, yes. That's when Starrcade is. I think that's like a Saturday night or something like that, right after Thanksgiving. Yeah, so overall, I would say that NXT War Games clearly won. Is that correct? Between the two, I think that was a better pay-per-view. AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar were the only thing that came close to making Survivor Series, in my opinion, compete with TakeOver. I think overall, TakeOver was much more fun. Fans were, I think, treated to better wrestling, overall. And it felt like it meant more, too. Survivor Series was kind of meaningless, especially since we didn't have any major angles go down, except for what took place in the main event, and we don't even know what the hell that was. Yes, I do think Roman Reigns might win the Royal Rumble. So, I'm going to come back here in just a second. Can you guys give me 30 seconds? I mentioned the same thing happened to me last time. I have a room that the door shuts when the windows are open, and my cats are locked in there. Let me go let them out, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to answer some questions. We're going to talk more about, I don't know, everything. Maybe we'll talk more about Survivor Series. But I will be back here in just a second. You guys sit tight. Don't leave me. When I come back, I'm going to check the audience on YouTube, and I hope 100 of you didn't run away. Give me 30 seconds. I would like to say, while I jump up here and grab another beer, that the response on these live Q&As have been pretty awesome. And so far, you guys enjoy them. So I appreciate that, because a lot of times when YouTubers change things up, when they change, or do a different idea, the fans complain a little bit about it, and you guys really don't. And that's kind of nice to see. So, all right. The only problem now is I've let my cats out, and one of these little fuckers might come up here and jump. How do I get out of here? There we go. Back. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you. I haven't even figured out how to put up some nice elevator music for you guys to chill out to when I take a break. But I let the little bastards out. I got another beer. Might have done something else. And I'm back now. So, now that we've got all of the results kind of out of the way on Survivor Series, on TakeOver, those of you who are just joining us, by the way, you can rewind to check out my opinions on Survivor Series and TakeOver. I went through all the results of all the matches. So if you guys want to take a look at that, you can. And now we're just going to kind of casually chat. I'm just going to come up here, chat with you guys, answer some questions about Survivor Series. Any questions you want to ask. If you want to ask about old stuff, talk about the history of Survivor Series. Tonight was the 30-year anniversary of that show. No, Jezik, it wasn't. Maybe it was. But if you want to talk about that sort of thing, we'll talk about that. I mean, I remember 30 years ago, Andre the Giant, the sole survivor, when he beat Bam Bam Bigelow at the end there of that first night in 1987. Damn. I'm just remembering that night. When am I planning on releasing a video of me playing video games on YouTube? I will do that soon. I did mention that last time. I've got all of the equipment I need now. I had all the old consoles, but I had no way of kind of hooking those up to a modern monitor. I had them hooked up to an old classic flat screen CRT TV. That thing was heavy as shit. It weighed like 10 times more than Andre the Giant. So I threw that goddamn thing in the dumpster and figured out a way to convert all these to an HDMI signal. Goes into a monitor. I've got a game capture that I've not hooked up yet. And once I do all of that, I'll start streaming some games. But I have to play with it first. I want to test it. And it's still a couple of weeks away from happening, but it will happen, and I just think it would be a nice little fun extra thing to do on the channel. So don't know when I'm going to get around to it exactly, and you guys know how I tend to procrastinate, so that might be a little while. Yeah, still a lot of the same comments. Main event, very disappointing. I agree. Some of you have talked about how guys like Nakamura and Bobby Roode could have been used better. And I mentioned earlier that I don't think they needed to win necessarily and survive, but they could have stuck around a little bit longer, or at least, lasted until the end of the match. No, Lara. Greg, will you do a year-end live stream Q&A? Big fan of the channel. It's possible. My end of the year video, I've already known what I've wanted to do for some time, and I've been working on it. The problem is it's such a massive project, I'm a little bit nervous about getting it finished in time. So I'm working on it, and it's going to take some time. So if I get midway through December and I realize that I ain't going to make it, I'm going to change and do something like a live stream. And then I'm still going to upload the video that I'm working on, in the future, maybe just a couple weeks later. But right now, just, based on my schedule, my end of the year is very, very busy. And this current project that I'm working on is going to be another, long deal, 5-hour type of deal. And so far, even though I've made some significant progress on it, I'm nervous that I'm not going to finish it in time. So if I can, I'll upload it at the end of the year. If not, it's going to be a big live, celebration. I'll do something really fun. I'll announce it a couple of weeks in advance. I'll do shout-outs. I don't know if I can figure out a way to accept callers or not. If I can, maybe I can do that. Or maybe I can interact with you guys in some other way a little bit better. Maybe I'll read some tweets, do some shout-outs, give my Patreon patrons, an opportunity to be seen and be heard. So I might plan something for that. And because I like that idea, that can be a lot of fun too. And I might do something like that for my 500th video, which will probably come up in the next couple of months. And as you can see here, I did it, right? I did label this episode 468. I know for my last 2 live streams, I did not label the episodes because they were kind of test runs, but This was, my intention here was this to be a live episode. So just a special episode that runs live. So that's why I labeled this one 468. From here on out, whenever I do a live show, I probably will start labeling them. My first couple were just kind of for practice. How long have we been going here? Wow, we're into an hour and 18 minutes already. All right, I might go 2 hours, I guess, with you guys. Generally, when I do these Q&As, that's what I do. Let me check out my audience right now. See how many of you I lost when I took that quick break. Oh, where are we? We're down to 212 now. Still respectable. I got 11 dislikes. What the fuck, y'all? Come on now. What am I saying wrong? Did I say something wrong? Did I defend AJ Styles for losing or something? What is it that would normally give me a dislike? My subscribers have been climbing pretty decently too. Holy shit. Which has been good in the past couple of days anyway. So thanks for those of you who spread the word. Yeah, and I'm looking over here. Yeah, I've had some pretty good damn growth. About 30 or 40 of you have subscribed just today alone. So not bad. Not bad. We're getting there. We'll get to that PewDiePie level one of these days. Let me go back down here to the chat. Speaking of which, Daniel Tilson, you're going to sub. Thank you. So many people, maybe with these live streams, I get some audience members that I wouldn't normally have. So that's nice. And I noticed that in my past couple of live streams, the views are always really good and the videos get me a pretty good chunk of new subscribers. So that's why I want to try to do these more often. And I also want to send a shout out and a thank you to TVTrax as well. Last week, I was very late on my commentary. Not that he and I have any sort of agreement or anything, but, for his sake and his channel, how hard he works at it. I always have him in mind, too, when I try to get my commentaries up in time, because I know what his schedule is like, and I know which days he likes to upload certain podcasts. He does Solid Monster one day, DT and Kevin Castle another, me on another. So the fact that I was late, I felt bad about it. But he still got all my shit up, which was pretty cool. So if you guys have not subbed TVTrax's channel, you can find the link on my YouTube page. Go over there. He's pushing 70,000 subs now. So it's a really good channel, and it's a really good platform for me to be featured on. And it's helped. A lot of my new subscribers in the past year, I think I've been featured on Trax for about a year now. And a lot of my subscribers this past year came from Trax's channel. So that's awesome. One day, I might do a Q&A just designated for those listeners. That might be something fun to do, too. That's probably way in the future, but maybe I'll talk to Trax about doing something like that. DeBlazin' Kid, sorry you're late. Don't worry about it, man. Thank you, Mike Eldridge, fan from the beginning. Good job on the videos. I appreciate that. Who do you see, W. Turner, who do you see working with Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble? Some people have mentioned Finn Balor. What do you guys think? Finn Balor? I mean, he had that match with AJ Styles. Could that be practice for Brock to work with smaller guys? I'd be fine with that. I know Brock's got to face some monsters here and there. Cash, I don't know the answer to that question. I understand that Brock's got to face some monsters. The Braun Strowman matches, the Samoa Joe matches need to happen. So, but I think you can balance them out. That's all he was doing. It was Goldberg, it was Joe, it was Strowman. And now all of a sudden you put him in there with AJ, a guy that's a lot smaller than all those previous opponents, and Brock can tear the house down. So if they put him in with Finn at the Royal Rumble, I got no problem with that, and I know what the outcome is going to be. If he makes it to the Royal Rumble, think about it. If he wins the belt at WrestleMania from Goldberg and he makes it all the way to the Royal Rumble, he's going to make it to Survivor, or he's going to make it to WrestleMania. So if he goes into the Royal Rumble to beat Finn Balor, or to face Finn Balor, he's going to beat him. He's probably going to beat him just like he did AJ Styles. Balor will put up a hell of a fight, come very close to winning, but fall short in the end. Yeah, some of those questions. No, I'm not going to touch that one. Not going to touch that. Okay, some of you have opinions about some of the names I mentioned there. Whatever, it's your opinion. I have my own opinions too. Sometimes I just don't express them. That's funny. So yeah, if we had Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor at the Royal Rumble, I have no problem with that at all. He can beat him, move on to WrestleMania to, I guess, face Roman Reigns. But does that mean Roman wins the Rumble in Philly again? Christ. That's a really good possibility. But luckily, we have 2 titles now. So he doesn't necessarily have to win the Royal Rumble to get a title shot. You can have a SmackDown guy win the Rumble, and Roman can get the title shot some other way. So it's not a complete done deal. And this is WWE's perfect opportunity, actually, to not fuck over the fans. You know, don't have Roman Reigns win again in this building. It would be effed up. I don't know where the Shield is going to be at this time. I don't know where they're going to stand with each other, if they're still going to be together by the time the Royal Rumble comes around, if all 3 of them are going to be in the Royal Rumble and they face each other. I don't know. Yes, Mac for you 2K6, that is really me. First time coming to one of my live shows, this is me. A lot of people are very surprised to see me on camera. It's not that weird. I got a YouTube channel. I got to evolve, right? So, yeah, like I said, Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, I think with 2 belts, WWE really should not do that. If they do that, they clearly want to fuck with the fans, because if they want to have Roman Reigns in a title match, they can still achieve that without having him win the Rumble. So if he goes in there in Philly and wins it again in front of that audience, that's WWE just being dicks, you know? That's WWE looking at any situation and saying, what would a dick do? We'd have Roman win. Wiza, what's up, brother? Always good to see you around. And by the way, audience, fans, Wiza, W-Y-Z-A. If you have never heard of him or never checked out his channel, please look it up, search it on YouTube, and check it out. He does a lot of video game stuff. I wish I was more knowledgeable in video games to plug him a little more, but if you like video games and you like wrestling and you like commentaries and you like somebody with a good, intelligible, you know, mature voice, Wiza might be a guy for you, so check him out. Oh, we got some bilingual people up in here. Do a Eddie Guerrero DVD review? Maybe one day. I mean, he's on my hit list, that's for sure. I'm way behind on my DVD reviews. But I need to bust out another one of these days. And Eddie is definitely on the list. When did he die? In 2007, right? So unfortunately, we're not on any sort of significant anniversary. It would be really nice to do something to commemorate, you know, him being dead a certain number of years. But he's been dead 12 years now. So maybe 12 exactly. He died in November, didn't he? 05? So yeah, maybe next year or maybe on his birthday or I don't know what the fuck. When did he win his first world title? 2004? So we're not even on a big anniversary for that. So I would love to do Eddie. Eddie had an awesome career. Miss Eddie. Do people mistake me for Carl Anderson? Yes, along with Christopher Daniels, along with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, Grizzly too. That's what I'm worried about. I mean, WrestleMania on the horizon. Who's going to walk out of WrestleMania as champion? Could it be John Cena and Roman Reigns? Could we actually see that? They threaten that every fucking year. And you know John Cena, he's going to have some victories coming. He still needs to break that record with Ric Flair. Plus, he's done a shit ton of jobbing lately to not only at Survivor Series here tonight, but to Roman Reigns and to Shinsuke Nakamura. And he hasn't really done much. So you know at some point WWE is going to give that back to him. And he's going to get a big victory somewhere. And he's got to break Ric Flair's record. You know he's going to do it. WrestleMania might very well be the platform for that. Oh, that can really happen, couldn't it? Especially if that happens on the same show that Roman Reigns also wins the title. Defeats Brock Lesnar. Oh my God. Let's hope that WWE plays with that. Let's hope that they maybe put Roman or put Cena over. Maybe he wins his title before WrestleMania so we don't have to see them both win it. Maybe John Cena breaks Ric Flair's record at the Royal Rumble, drops it at WrestleMania instead of winning it at WrestleMania. I don't know. And AJ's got the belt right now. So you would assume since John Cena and AJ already worked for the belt, they worked at the Royal Rumble, as a matter of fact, didn't they? And that's when John Cena won the match. And then he dropped it at Elimination Chamber. Is my history correct there? This is crazy. I remember what happened in 1986. I don't remember what happened 9 fucking months ago. But we've already seen that. So I don't know if you need to go with AJ and Cena again. So if the plan is to put the belt on John Cena for that record-breaking 17th time, whatever it is, AJ might not be the guy he's going to defeat. It might be Jinder Mahal. Oh, that's frightening. What does that tell you? Jinder Mahal might win on Tuesday night. He's got a title shot. If they don't put the belt on Jinder on Tuesday, but they're going to put the belt on him later, maybe in 2 weeks, that doesn't make sense. Do it now. AJ's not healthy. AJ just had the fight of his life against Brock. You know, if you're going to have Jinder beat him, you should probably do it while AJ has like an excuse, so to speak. So trust me, like I said earlier, I don't want to see that, but you know. Yeah, so I'm just reading your comments again, Wiza. The show was a blast. You know, that's the thing. If you watch it, you know, from a certain perspective, you know, some fans watch a pay-per-view and they watch it to complain. They watch it to pick apart everything. And I'm not an apologist. I hate that fucking word, so stupid. Not a WWE apologist. I'm just a dude who talks about wrestling, watches it in a laid-back, casual way. When I'm watching a pay-per-view, I'm kicking back, I'm on social media, I'm having a frosty beverage, and I'm not taking it so seriously where I have to pick apart every little thing. If I see something stupid, I'll criticize it, and I'll say so. I just talked about that earlier on in this commentary, how fucking dumb the finish of the main event was and how it completely confused all of us. So it's not like I don't criticize, but sometimes it doesn't bother me. Sometimes I like to try to enjoy it as best as I can. I don't force myself to enjoy it, but I try to enjoy it. And me, I think that's what we should all do. You know, I really want this channel to be the wrestling YouTube fans' escape into casual reality type of thing, to where we can just sit back, we can chat. Yes, if we see something stupid and it bothers us, we can say so, but we don't want to burn down WWE's headquarters. And I really want to try to project that image to everybody. That yes, some things are dumb as fuck. I understand that. Never going to argue that point. But at the same time, you know, is it worth it to really watch a pay-per-view with the sole purpose of picking it apart completely? You know, what's the point of that? There's no fun in that. If you're doing that, why are you even watching this nonsense? So, and I think the only reason I watch it is because of all of you. I really don't know, and I can't honestly say at this stage of my life, in 2017, if I did not have a YouTube channel to run that had a fair amount of success, that was worth running and was fun and beneficial and gave me enjoyment, I don't know if I would watch the product. I would probably, if I didn't have anybody to talk to about this, if I couldn't come up on YouTube and talk about this shit, if I sat on my couch every week and just watched it, I think I'd probably quit being a wrestling fan. Not a wrestling fan, so to speak. I'd probably always watch old school wrestling, classic wrestling, just like I am with music. I don't listen to any modern music, just like I am with video games. I don't play any modern video games, but I listen to old music. I listen to classic music. I play classic video games. And that's the same way I am with wrestling. So the only way for me to keep my sanity in a lot of these reviews or a lot of these YouTube videos is to not try to fly off the handle, you know, and go completely nuts and apeshit about something that at the end of the day doesn't matter. WWE is a million times different than it used to be. It's a publicly traded company now. Internally, it's run completely different. Things all of a sudden matter now that never mattered before. And what it takes to get a talent over is completely different, flipped upside down compared to the way it used to be when I was a kid. So I've accepted the changes in wrestling, totally. And I know what they are. So for me, I have to watch this in a laid-back attitude. Otherwise, I couldn't take it anymore. I have to watch this, you know, with the attitude that at the end of the day, I don't care. Because if I did care really bad, I'd probably be as crazy as a lot of you commenting right now. Yes, I did cover NXT. That's just a little bit earlier on. Yeah, no, it's not a matter of complaining. I don't mind complaining. I've complained in this very Q&A that you're watching right now. So I'm not saying, like, complaining is stupid. It's not. You know, some things need to be complained about. But I was just reading some of the tweets during the AJ Styles match, and I can't even remember now some of the complaints that I saw, but you know, just a lot of just little nitpicking about little tiny minute details that didn't matter in the grand scheme of what really is a good match. And so I'm like, can't we just enjoy this? Yes, I know AJ's not going to win. I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, but can we just watch this? This is great stuff. So yeah, the 5-man commentary team sucks. Or yes, they didn't announce something properly or phrase something the way you wanted it to. I'm trying to watch the match. So that's kind of my point there. Remington, Canada. Yes, you can have a beer. I've actually had a few too many of these because I had a few during Survivor Series. You cannot watch a 4-hour pay-per-view and a 2-hour kickoff without alcohol. You go out of your mind. Grizzly 2. Vince wants Roman and Cena as champions in the ring at WrestleMania, hugging with confetti and pyro, trying to erase WrestleMania 20 ending. That's an interesting thought. I don't know, would they really hug? You know, to me, there would be a match between the two of them, and maybe John Cena passes the torch, but John Cena already lost to him. And with WWE and their 50-50 booking shit, you would think that if these two guys got back in the ring again, Cena would go over. And hell, maybe... God, does Cena beat Roman for the belt? Think about that. Does Cena beat Roman for the belt? Roman Reigns is going to have to get a title shot at some point. Maybe he doesn't get it at WrestleMania. Maybe he gets it at the Royal Rumble, and then Cena beats him for it at Mania. I don't know, just a thought. Just a thought. That would probably be better, wouldn't you agree? Don't you think that would be better than just Roman going in there and defeating Brock? You know, I think either outcome kind of sucks regardless of what they do, but, you know, it might be better than just the predictable direction of, you know, Brock Lesnar holding the belt for a year and Roman Reigns finally defeating Brock Lesnar, who he faced at WrestleMania 31 all those years ago and couldn't get the job done. Oh, thank you, Noah Jessic. Stream past 2 hours. Does that mean you want me to go away? Should I quit? No, it didn't. What are you talking about? Hour and 34 minutes. The hell? Stop messing with me. Wait, we're good, right? You guys can all see me and shit. All right, you're confusing me. Don't mess with me. I'm still new to this stuff. You can freak me out pretty easily. Noah Jessic. I'm just kidding. Oh, Wiza, no. I used to drink Yingling. Back when I lived on the East Coast, I drank some of Yingling. I came down to North Carolina, started showing up in the grocery stores. It's a Pennsylvania beer, right? And started drinking it. But I was always, back then, drinking like Coronas, Red Stripes, Dos Equis, which I have right here, or, you know, or some sort of like a little bit higher alcohol content Pilsner. It wasn't until just a few years ago I started drinking high IPAs and heavier beers. But yeah, I always liked Yingling. And it was relatively inexpensive and decent beer. Mac, for you to... I already answered one question of yours, I think, but whatevs. I'll answer another one. Care to explain why WrestleMania is right back in New Orleans? Because New Orleans made the best offer to WWE. This has now become an issue where, you know, back in the day, WWE would look for a city. You know, they would try to find, you know, a place to go. Where can we have WrestleMania, and go around to these places and just try to find a venue. Now the cities come to them. Now it's very much like the Super Bowl. They actually put in bids for this. And I think New Orleans... I don't remember the exact story, but I remember when WrestleMania was announced to be in New Orleans again, there was a reason behind it, and that was because New Orleans offered WWE the best deal. WWE did a lot for that city when they came at WrestleMania 30, and it just was a huge success for them. So they wanted them back, and WWE was looking at other places. You know, probably Minnesota's got a new building, Atlanta's got a new building, and maybe some other cities there. But I think at the end of the day, New Orleans just gave them the best offer. And I think that's a good place for them, and I plan on going next year. I have heard a couple of stories about the hotels are not totally... Oh, Carol Owler, yes, Stella Artois. I definitely drink Stellas a lot. That's another beer that I drink. But I have heard that there are some nightmare issues with hotels in relation to the stadium in the Superdome in New Orleans. So I think when I go, I'm probably going to be a far away, and I'm going to have to take pretty long Uber rides, I'm guessing, to get there. So that is one thing that I'm a little bit dreading. But as far as like the city of New Orleans getting WrestleMania, I'm perfectly fine with it. It was fun the last time. I think it's pretty safe to say that we enjoyed WrestleMania 30. Chosen One. Brock has a legit leg injury from the steel steps. Is that true, guys? I've been talking with all of you, so I haven't been really looking at wrestling news. Suppose it's possible. Let's go over to Twitter. Ha! I just pulled up Twitter. Delex, man, he must have just read my tweets to the crazy jobber. He says, you guys should really go subscribe to liberal journalist Greg Morgan. He deserves a lot more followers than he has. Thank you, Delex Man, for that. You must have read those tweets by the crazy guy. Let me give that a retweet there, Delex. There we go. Let's see if we have anything else on Twitter. Yeah, I'm going to keep going here for a little while. This is fun. Like I said, I need all the practice I can get. It's not even... Where am I? I'm all lost here. It's not even 2 hours yet, so I'm on an hour and 37 minutes. I'll go at least 2. Stream status is still okay. Let's check the channel over here and see how many I still got looking at me. 35, maybe. 200. We're still over 200. That's not bad. It's not bad. All right. Okay, I'm back. Let's go back down to the chat here and see what you guys are saying. Get on the Internet Darlings panel. I don't even know if Brian's doing that this year. I should contact him. You think I'm big enough to get on that now? He had me involved in that last year with the video package. But I would really like to go to WrestleMania this year. So you guys need to tweet Brian Zane. Brian Zane's great. He's nice to me. He seems to like me a lot. But I also understand and I'm realistic in the sense that in order to be on something like that, you need to be to a certain level. And even though I'm very happy with my success and I have a very, good channel, I don't know if I'm quite to the level that he's looking for. So, but it would really be cool to be on that. Oh, hello, Gold Standard. Ross is your name, right? Good to see you on here. You are asking me, you can find some good deals on hotels that are like 15 minutes away from the stadium. You did that for Mania 30, probably going to do that for Mania 34 too. Hopefully I'll hook up with you and meet you. So yeah, that's it was only like one person that was telling me that about the hotels. A friend of mine claims to travel there all the time for business. And when I was mentioning going to him, he's like, oh, the only problem is like you're going to have to go so far from the stadium to find a hotel, and it's going to be long Uber rides or whatever. So he's the kind of the one that warned me about all of that. But if you're saying it's not that bad, I'll believe you. Yeah, a lot of other YouTubers' names are being brought up. I see Steven Larson. Have never formally spoken with them, actually. But do like them. Everybody else I've pretty much talked to, except for them. But I like them. Wrestling Warrior, do you think it's ironic WWE brags about Mania being a global attraction, yet they haven't held one outside the United States since 2002? I don't think they ever held one outside the United States. WrestleMania, anyway. At least that's what your question says. But WrestleMania, I think with WWE, and I don't want this to sound bad because the cool thing about WWE is they are worldwide, and the cool thing about my YouTube channel is I have fans everywhere, especially like in England, very well represented in the UK. A lot of fans, a lot of people in India listen to me, and even some Japan. When I look at my analytics, I'm really surprised how spread out everybody is, and Australia too is another country. So I know that the fans there are just as passionate and just as big as the fans here in the States. But it's going to be hard to put one over there because of the enormous time difference. And that's unfortunate because it's not like the fans overseas don't deserve to have an event like this. They do. But for WWE making the most amount of money, even though they're worldwide and they have fans everywhere, the majority of their business takes place here in the States. They want to have the pay-per-views take place in the time zones that are here just for maximum business, buy rates, and all of that. So if you take it out of the United States, then all of the fans here are going to have to stay up very late, which I understand, or get up very early, depending on where they are, which I totally understand because you guys do it every single fucking pay-per-view. I actually get yelled at in pay-per-view reviews after the pay-per-view goes off the air if I put a spoiler in the thumbnail. Like if I have the winner holding up the title, people get pissed at me because they're like, how dare you spoil this thing? I haven't seen it yet. And it's because they're all the way on the other side of the country or other side of the world than where I am, and they don't get to see the pay-per-view until it's daytime for them or nighttime or whatever the fuck. So a lot of times these air in the middle of the night and the fans don't get a chance to see them. So you guys deserve to have a WrestleMania. I just don't think you're ever going to get one. Canada is the only place it can go. It really is. So, because that's in the same continent. And there's not an ocean separating it. Even Hawaii. Somebody asked me in a recent Q&A, a few months back, if WrestleMania might go to Hawaii. And I was like, no, same reason. Yes, that technically Hawaii is, or not technically, but it is a state in the United States. It's so fucking far away that the time zone wouldn't work out. WrestleMania 35 in Zimbabwe? Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure what the nightlife is like in Zimbabwe. Carol Owler, it's 5:40 a.m. where you are and you're watching me. You stay up like I do. I stay up till 5 in the morning all the time. Will I review the Omega versus Jericho match? Yeah, I will. I'll definitely watch it. I don't know if I'll get a chance to watch it the night that it happens. I'm going to have to catch it on somebody's going to have to send me the match. I'll tweet it. Say, anybody's got a copy of that Jericho Omega match, send me a link, and I'm sure you guys will because you guys are awesome. Yeah, they could go to South America. That's true, too. My point exactly, Gold Standard. I don't like it that people give me shit about the spoilers. The show already happened. To me, I just like to put up a nice thumbnail. I think thumbnails are very important in YouTube videos. So anytime I've spoiled something, it certainly hasn't been intentionally. I just think that after the show, everybody knows what happens. And if you don't want to know what happens, the last place you need to be is social media, is Twitter, is YouTube, is Facebook, because you're going to get spoiled. So, yeah, I agree. It's completely pointless to complain about that, but they do anyway. So I like to try to be sensitive to that. If they don't want spoilers in the thumbnail, fine. Like, I give a shit. I'll put something else up, but I just want to have a nice looking thumbnail that will attract attention. That's my only point to any of that. Jihad Mohammed, the finish to the main event was so fucking confusing. I'm assuming you're talking about Survivor Series. You're right. I talked about that a little bit earlier on, if you want to go back and look. Yes, Triple H did make TakeOver work in London. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think a pay-per-view is one thing. That's fine. It's WrestleMania is the question I was getting. So, they've done SummerSlam there before. So if they threw a pay-per-view over there, I personally would have no problem with that at all. That would be fine. I just don't know WrestleMania with that amount of business that it brings in. Not that it couldn't work in London, but weather is also an issue in London too. What's there? Do they have anything indoor that's big enough to house a WrestleMania? I'm not familiar. Wembley's outdoors, so, they'd have to worry about that time of year and shit. I don't know. I think it would be tough to do WrestleMania anywhere else than the United States. 0 out of 100 for Survivor Series? Come on, let's not go that far. Stephen M., you will trade me a tape of the Y2J Omega match. Thank you. What would you like in return? You want best of Cactus Jack from Japan? You want best of death matches? You want best of Steve Austin and ECW? These are all compilation tapes. They're all like 13 hours long. What about every single Bret Hart match ever on 15 different 8-hour VHS tapes? Would you like those? I have that too. You want the curtain call? I'll hook you up. Oh yeah, Jose Martinez, WrestleMania in LA. Yeah, they'll be here. They'll definitely be here at some point. That I will go to once that stadium is finished. Did the internet kill wrestling? No, it didn't kill it because wrestling's still alive. But it definitely contributed to the changes that we see in it. I mean, hell, look at what I'm doing right now. If I would have had this in the 90s after a 1994 Monday Night Raw and I was able to come up on the internet and talk to you guys live about Nikolai Volkov versus the 1-2-3 Kid, then that would be some shit, man. That would be some shit. Pardon me while I'm reading comments. Sorry for my long pauses. Me, Salamonster, Steven Larson, and Brian Zane would be cool. All of us on one panel. That would be a whole lot of awesomeness in one spot. I don't know if the fans could handle that. I don't even think I could handle it. What else can we talk about? What do you guys want to talk about? Let me go back to YouTube. Jungleberry, I'm sorry, not YouTube, Twitter. Jungleberry on Twitter at Lucan is now Baza. What the fuck? How do you guys come up with these names? Anyway, just woke up in the UK. How was it? Worth watching? Yes, it was worth watching, but it was confusing. The main event's going to fuck you up. But watch Brock versus AJ. Just watch it. just curl up on a couch with a cozy blanket and watch AJ versus Brock. You will not be disappointed. Otherwise, Jungle, I got to say, Survivor Series was pretty much what we expected. Nothing great, nothing over the top, and the 5-on-5 men's match main event highly disappointed all of us. Anything else on Twitter? Let me scroll down here. MVP for tonight is Brock Lesnar. Yeah, Brock was awesome tonight. And AJ Styles. Some of you are saying that Vince McMahon booked all of these NXT eliminations. I can only guess you are talking about Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura and Bobby Roode. Dustin Eaton on Twitter, have you considered doing fantasy booking past events like the guest booker series? Maybe. That might be something fun to do. If I did that, it would have to be a live thing because I'm really enjoying this no editing thing. The one cool thing about doing a live review is once I'm done, I'm done. The minute I click off here, it goes right to my YouTube channel and it's over. So that's very attractive to me. I don't want to stop my podcast form commentaries. I'm not going to. I'm going to continue those, but it is kind of nice when I do live videos because they're much easier. So a fantasy booking event would be great as long as I could do it live. Here's another idea that I had. Want to run by you guys. Let me go over to the chat so I can read your comments when I talk about this. Another idea that I had for like a live stream would be me watching a classic pay-per-view. Would you guys even watch that? I know some people do that on YouTube and with a moderate amount of success. But what if I pulled up a pay-per-view on the WWE network? I wouldn't be able to show it on camera because, I'd get in trouble. So you guys would kind of have to follow along on your own with me. But if I did something like that, that might be kind of fun just as an experiment. And I could totally kick back. I'd prop my feet up. I'd drink some beer and I'd watch it. And it would probably be pretty boring because I wouldn't be talking constantly like I am now. I'd just be watching the matches and making some comments. And maybe I can put a timer in the corner so you guys can see, where the pay-per-view is and follow along. Just an idea. And that would have to be something that would be done totally on the fly, just for shits and giggles, not a total new weekly segment or anything like that. Just just something that I could play with. I know that I mentioned Something to Wrestle With is my favorite wrestling podcast out there right now with Conrad and Bruce Pritchard, and that show is amazing. They've got a couple of big Thanksgiving shows coming up. I should plug them. I'm not getting paid for this, I promise, but I happened to hear it when I was listening to their last episode that I found really interesting. 30 years ago, Survivor Series 1987, debuted for the WWE. They went head-to-head with Starrcade, and they, of course, blackmailed the cable companies into covering Survivor Series and said, hey, if you cover Starrcade, we're not going to give you our pay-per-view, and they really fucked over the NWA back then, and that's kind of where the war really got cooking hard, was around that time. So I think it's Conrad and Bruce are going to do a review of Survivor Series 1997 on Thanksgiving Day on their podcast. And then later on, it's going to be Tony Schiavone and Conrad on What Happened When, reviewing the Starrcade 1987 show, the Chi-Town Rumble. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, reverse that. I think Tony and Conrad are going first on What Happened When, then it's going to be Survivor Series on Something to Wrestle With. That's really cool. So doing something like that I think would be fun because that's kind of what they do. They watch the pay-per-view and say, okay, follow along with us. So if I did something like that, it just might be something fun. Sometimes when I'm itching to talk about wrestling and I'm like, who the fuck do I talk to? And I'm like, oh, I've got 15,000 of you right here that I can talk to. So just an idea. Blink Blink, King of the Ring 1993. I would love to do that pay-per-view. That would be a good one. I talk a lot about Bret Hart. Fans might get sick of me talking about 4 different Bret Hart matches, or 3 anyway. But King of the Ring was one of my favorite pay-per-views, definitely my favorite King of the Ring of all time. And I really liked the atmosphere at the Nutter Center that night. It just had a great feel to it. Jim Ross on commentary. Everything was awesome. WWE really needs to change their direction. Yeah, I agree there. NXT has no current true stars. They don't have anybody monstrous right now. And that's why I was a little bit shocked that Almas won the title. I think that's great for him, and now he can become that big star, and when he gets onto the main roster, he'll be a player, hopefully. and he can really develop his character even more on the main event level in NXT. But yeah, right now with everybody, with Balor gone, Joe gone, Shinsuke gone, Bobby Roode gone, they don't have that major star. Now with Drew McIntyre on the shelf and Asuka gone, yeah, who do they got? But still a bunch of, I still want another beer here too. Still a bunch of talented guys on that roster though. Sonic Plays 64, Greg, go live during the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I've thought about that, but I don't know if I'll do that or not. I don't know if I'll go live and just sit here and watch it. Because then you guys have to watch two things. Then you have to watch the Royal Rumble and you have to watch me. And it's not going to sync up because I'm probably going to be seconds behind. I don't know how that would work to do that live. But do other people do that? YG4 Eva, Alistair Black, talked about him earlier on when I talked about War Games results. He had a great match with Velveteen Dream. I really enjoyed that. That was the best match on the card to me. It's fucking amazing. SXE Greatness, CM Punk, talk about him maybe returning to the Bullet Club or something like that. It's all up to CM Punk. He can definitely make some money doing that, but I think he's training to go back into fighting. He's going to have another MMA match. He's probably going to get killed. Oh, man. Yeah, I agree. It's crazy that the level of talent WWE has now compared to when Cena was on top. I agree. I mean, the roster and guys haven't been pushed exactly the way some of us have wanted. But as far as like the talent, like you just write down the names on pay-per-view or on paper, that's a pretty impressive list. I mean, there's talent there. There's talent there. There's drawing power there. It's just how WWE does it. It's just how they use them, how they book them, how they utilize all these names. That's the problem. But the talent is there. I agree 100%. Yeah, Joey Avalon, you hope that with Braun they keep him this destructive and unstoppable and they don't ruin it. And I agree. I mean, he had to do a lot to bounce back from that loss to Brock in September. So, you know, Braun kind of seems to be picking up right where he left off. He demolished Triple H tonight at the Survivor Series. So hopefully that loss to Brock can kind of be forgotten about. But yeah, I just hope they keep doing what they're doing with Braun. He's a lot of people's favorite wrestler right now. I remember when he first came onto the scene, I used to make fun of his theme music, the way it was that Braun shit or whatever. I thought it was so dumb. Now it's like over as hell. I mean, even the fans chant it when he kicks somebody's ass and he does the big scream. That's a hell of a lot more over than that dumb shit Roman does before the spear. And I agree, Strowman has been booked phenomenally, except for that match with Brock. The funny thing is I wouldn't even have cared if Strowman lost. If it was just a little bit better of a match, maybe if it was bloody, you know, maybe if Braun Strowman bled the way the dude from Sanity did, you know, at War Games, if it was something like that and then Braun Strowman got beat in the end, I could almost live with that. But the way it went down was just like, WWE were doing everything right with him. You know, they did so much stuff with him, especially with Roman Reigns and how dominant Braun Strowman was, killing everybody. And then he just gets beat by Brock with an F5. Motorcycles. Oh, I'm glad somebody brought him up. Charles Manson, I guess he's not dead. Is he dead or not dead? I thought that he was dead, and I tweeted out earlier, like, oh, what a great weekend. Charles Manson died, and we have a whole bunch of good wrestling. But I think he might still be alive, at least as we speak. But he's on his deathbed, and he's almost done. But I'm checking Twitter to see if I see Charles Manson trending. Nope, not dead yet. We'll have to wait and see. Sometimes when I see Charles Manson's name trending, I'm not sure if he's sick or if he's been appointed to a cabinet position. If you know what I mean. Anyway, let's go back to the YouTube chat, see what you guys are saying. Lars Sullivan is the next Braun Strowman. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier on. He definitely has that potential. He's kind of being booked that way. Just the way he's very menacing and can toss guys around. And I like him. He looks older than he is. I don't know how old this kid is, or this guy is. I should look it up. You guys can tell me. But he looks like he's fucking 45 years old. And I said he's got that combination of that like Grizzly Smith, Gorilla Monsoon type of look to him, just a lot more athletic. Okay, so some of you are saying that Charles Manson is dead. All right, good. He just died. TMZ reported it 30 minutes ago. Good. It's about time. Charles Manson was crazy. Remember when Cactus Jack was called Cactus Jack Manson? You put a little funky tattoo in the middle of Mick Foley's head, he could pull off that look. Fucking crazy. I'm glad that son of a bitch is dead. Rotten hell, shithead. Where do I see Samoa Joe leading up to and WrestleMania? I don't know. I don't know what their plans for him are. Just with everything going on with both titles right now, I mean, unless Samoa Joe jumped to SmackDown, I don't know if I see him in this world title picture. So whatever he does at WrestleMania is going to have to be underneath that. And who does he feud with? You know, do they stretch out this Finn Balor shit until WrestleMania? We've already seen them feud in NXT. Do we need to see that again? Yeah, a lot of people agree. You think Samoa Joe will feud with Finn Balor? He might. Lars Sullivan is 29 years old. Are you shitting me? Dude, he looks old as hell. I mean, I can't believe he's 29. He looks like he's, like I said, he's 45 or 50 years old. But man, he's a beast. Mick Foley, a molester. I did kind of read that story. Man, shit's a mess right now with that stuff, isn't it? I mean, it's all happening at once, and I guess that's good. You know, at least it's, I don't even know what to make of it. I mean, every single day I just look at, you know, the news, and I just hope that all these pervert stories and all these people that are now being outed as being gross, disgusting pervs, I just don't want it to creep too far into the wrestling business. I'm sure sometime we're going to get something, you know, a few names come to my mind right off the bat that if somebody decides to come out and, you know, and expose somebody for something they might have done. Ugh. I don't want it to hit the wrestling business because I don't want it to tarnish the wrestling business any more than it's already tarnished. Lord knows we've had enough fucking sexual misconduct going on in pro wrestling and the WWE over the past 35 years. We certainly don't need a resurgence of that now. Nathan Jones and Braun Strowman had a baby. I wonder who's their kid? Infamous Chi. Who are you talking about? Velveteen Dream is 22. Shit. Sorry if things are slowing down here. Now I'm to the point where I'm just reading kind of comments. Let me go up. Oh, I am about to cross over 2 hours. I'm at 1:59 and change, so I guess I'll wrap it up pretty soon here. Unless you guys want me to go a little bit longer. Looks like the stream status is okay. Everything's good. Let's see how many people are watching. If it's dipped down a lot, I'll think about signing off here. Let's see. No, we got over 200 people watching. Oh, we got a lot. All right, we got 221. Why not? Let's hang out for a little bit longer. Why not? I got nowhere to be. Actually, it's Sunday night. I think I told you guys this. Have I told you this before? Sunday night, a lot of my friends from my work friends and stuff, we do Sunday Night Thunder. I think I mentioned it on Twitter. And it's just a tradition where we all go out every Sunday night. But with the holiday right now, I didn't get a lot of like mass texts or anything like that. So I don't think that that's even happening tonight. So I'm just kind of in for the evening. Which that reminds me. Oh, just checking my phone here. Yeah, see, nobody wants me. Well, I got a couple of text messages, but nothing regarding Sunday Night Thunder. So I think I'm all yours for a little bit longer here. So let's go, let's talk some more. Go back down here. Keep going. Everybody's saying keep going. What's the YouTube landscape right now looking like? A lot of people online, or is there a lot of people doing live shows right now? Is everybody just fucking rambling and as incoherent as I am? I'm on probably my 7th beer. Wherever you are, Vash Starwind, it's 1 a.m. for you. You must be on the East Coast. Because it's 10 a.m. here. Or 10 p.m. here. Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so the good news for me is it's still early. And I don't have to stay up all night. Yeah, although it does suck for football. You know, I don't, I'm a night owl. I stay up like every night. It's just my nature. I work in the restaurant business. Nighttime is my time to just watch wrestling, do YouTube channel stuff, have peace and quiet. I fucking love nighttime. And I'm always going to be that way. And I don't sleep super late. I don't sleep till noon or anything like that. But I don't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning either. So, watching stuff like this late at night is kind of what I've always been about. So anybody that's up super late, you're a lot like me. Oh, God, let's go way down here. Jesus. Oh, somebody's watching me and Bob Ross simultaneously? This is just a happy commentary. Happy little commentary. AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar had a happy match. It was, the match was titanium white. Be careful how many beers I drink. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm drinking fucking Dos Equis. This is piss water. I am the Walrus. I don't know who Eric the Midget is, so I don't have a opinion on him. Thomas Polster, 7 a.m. in Germany. Good morning. Have some breakfast. Are you on your way to work? What are you doing? What are you doing in Germany at 7 a.m.? Do you go to work? Do you go to school? What you up to, Thomas? Jose Martinez, I don't have any wrestling impressions. I don't have any impressions. I just don't. I don't have any. Sorry. I can't do them. I can't do accents. I can't do impressions. I don't sound like anybody. I only sound like me. I'm happy Charlotte won too tonight. She had to. Biscuit Butt wasn't going to beat her. I like Alexa. Trust me, I like her. But compared to Charlotte, absolutely not. Anyone miss paying $40 for pay-per-views? Oh, yeah, I do. Those were the days. Wrestling Warrior, favorite cocktail? You mean drink? Beer. I'm a beer guy through and through. I've never been a big liquor drinker, although I'll drink a margarita and I'll drink some shots if it's a special occasion. But, you know, even though I drink a ton of beer, I'm not a big drinker. I'm certainly not an alcoholic. I don't like vodka. I don't really like tequila, although I'll drink it sometimes. And I'll drink a bourbon every now and then if it's like a super crazy special occasion. Otherwise, I sip on beer, and that's all I do. Oh, man, I don't have any, like, nice elevator music to play. But would you guys be terribly offended if I went and took a piss? How about that? You guys want anything? I'm going to get a beer. Can you guys wait 30 seconds? Don't leave. Don't be leaving now. I'll be right back, and then I'm going to crack a beer, and we'll get back to business. All right, I'm coming back. I'm back. Remember last time my cats jumped up everywhere when I was doing a commentary? Neither one of them seemed to give a shit tonight. So, you guys are in luck. I'm back. What's up? Let's see if you guys are still here after all of that. I know, right? Like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I know how to do a live stream now and stuff, but I haven't played around with it too much. I'm sure I could, like, do a little ad break or something like that when I go take a piss. But right now, if I have to go to the bathroom, I'm going to be like, see ya. And I just put something up on the screen. I know it's very amateur, but it's all I know how to do. Let's read some more questions here. Chadi or Chadi Charani, 8 a.m. in Lebanon. You are listening to me from Lebanon. That's awesome. Thank you for staying up. You said you've been up all night. You're a lot like me, although 8 a.m., that's pretty hardcore right there. I definitely do my fair share of all-nighters, especially when I'm doing commentaries. And my last commentary that I was so late on, I stayed up forever fucking doing that. I couldn't even finish editing it. So thank you for staying up with me. No, there's no way you could have heard me piss in the background. My bathroom is so far away from this microphone. There's no way. Did you guys really hear me pissing? No way. All those beers. I haven't drank that many beers. Trust me, I can hold my beer. I can manage a live stream, right? I'm up here talking. You can understand what I'm saying, aside from the occasional stutter. So, don't worry, I can handle my Dos Equis. Newcastle, England, 605. Thank you, Wrestling Warrior, for staying up. See, that's what I'm saying. There's wrestling fans all over the world, and a lot of you guys listen to me. So you deserve a WrestleMania and a big pay-per-view. So when I say it's not, I don't see it happening, it's not because you don't deserve it. Please understand that. Do I watch Chopped or Iron Chef or anything like that? Yeah, I watch Chopped sometimes. I think I'd be good on Chopped because I can cook like a boss, like an absolute boss. I mentioned that earlier on with Jason Jordan and the silly angle with him being Kurt Angle's son, especially lately. He's a whiny little bitch, and I hate it. If he doesn't turn heel and completely beat the crap out of his dad, I don't see the point. Vash Starwind. It was a live stream within a live stream. That's true, it was. Oh, Noah Jazik, are you ready for a mind blower? You ask me, what is my favorite pizza? I don't like pizza. I know, I'm crazy. No, Bryce Johnson, you did not see my dick. You know how long it takes me to uncoil this thing? So trust me, you didn't have time to see it. I'm kidding. No, I don't like pizza. Never did as a kid. I know I'm crazy, I'm bizarre, and the money I would have saved as a college student, eating pizza would have saved me thousands of dollars probably. But for some reason, I don't like pizza, but I like everything about pizza. I like cheese, I like bread, I like tomato sauce, I like vegetables, I like pepperoni, I like meats, I like olives, I like everything. I like everything you could possibly put on a pizza, but for some reason together, it's not my favorite thing. I can eat a piece of pizza, but I don't find pizza like delicious where I can eat like a whole pizza. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, and my parents would bring home pizza for dinner, on a busy school night where me and my sisters are all home and they're trying to feed us quick, my mom would always have to stop somewhere and get me like a cheeseburger because I wouldn't eat the pizza. I'm weird. I know, everybody loves pizza except for me. I don't know why I think it's gross. And I'm a food person. I will eat anything. I'll eat gross stuff like foie gras and offal and and shit like that. I'll eat some weird stuff, but for some reason pizza just does not get along with me. A lot of you are very surprised about the no pizza thing. You guys are still getting a kick out of my piss break. I'm sorry. I had to go. What am I supposed to do? Favorite Kurt Angle match? Yours would be him and Chris Benoit 2003 Royal Rumble. Yeah, that one's up there. I enjoyed his match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. What else has Kurt been in? He's been in some good ones. I liked it when he won the title from Steve Austin. I liked his match at SummerSlam 2001 with Steve Austin as well. Yeah, the Angle match or the Benoit match was good. The match he had with Benoit at WrestleMania was good too. Rice Jones, that's a good question. Should Kurt Angle hold the Universal title to help build its history? The same reasons I gave last year when Goldberg held the title and Brock Lesnar held the title And I said, if it's a newly established title, a title that WWE intends on having in their company for forever, then you want as many names in its lineage as possible. So putting Kurt Angle on that list, I mean, Kurt Angle is more deserving than Goldberg, isn't he? You know, if they put the title on Goldberg, Kurt Angle seems like a shoo-in to win that belt. So that's a very good possibility. If they wanted to do the throwback title reign like they did last year and put it on Kurt from the Royal Rumble until WrestleMania or something like that, then I'd have no problem with it. Carol Owler, I agree on the foie gras. I'm just saying I'm working restaurants, so I've had these things presented to me and I've eaten them and I've liked them more than pizza. But yeah, I totally agree on that. The current restaurant that I'm at, that I'm in charge of the menu, we don't care. We don't do any specials like that at all. But no, I get it. I'm just saying in general, as in the tastes of foods, I think some really nasty shit is better tasting than pizza because I'm crazy. Kurt Angle isn't too believable now. No, but Kurt Angle can wrestle. You know, Goldberg's not believable either. You know, he finally put a good match together at WrestleMania, but aside from that, he held that belt and he came back to work several matches and only worked seconds at a time. He beat Brock in like 25 seconds, was in the Royal Rumble for a cup of coffee, and then had Kevin Owens finished off for the title in just a little short amount of time as well. So, you know, my point was Angle might not be who he was years ago, but if Goldberg can do it, Angle can sure as fuck do it. Is this a rib? I think I get this question asked in every commentary. Michael Jackson or Prince? Prince. I'm a much bigger fan of Prince, and I have a lot more artistic respect for Prince than Michael Jackson. Don't hate Michael Jackson. The child fucking gets on my nerves a little bit, but as far as him being, you know, a legend and the king of pop, for sure. Michael Jackson had some hits, and he was definitely a big part of the music scene in the 80s, but I prefer Prince, personally. Kurt is stiff and slow. Goldberg was quick and powerful. Goldberg was put in situations where he could look that way. I still think I would trust Kurt Angle in a match more than Goldberg. But yeah, I mean, when you get old, there's only so much you can do. You know, Kurt Angle, you know, this is the worst he's ever been in his career. You know, that seems about right. He's very old now, and he's very banged up, and he's very hurt, and he suffered a couple of broken necks. But in his day, Kurt Angle, you know, couldn't be touched. So, yeah, it might be a stretch. You might be right to put the belt on him at this point, you know, especially if Kurt Angle is really not what he used to be. It might be tough to put the Universal title on him, and they might not do it. I'm not saying they would. I'm just saying that if they did, I would agree with it. There's another loud motorcycle going by. Do I like barbecue ribs? Yeah. I like barbecue ribs. I just made short ribs the other day. Man, they were delicious. They're totally different than barbecue ribs, but it made me think of that. Ellsworth making a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble. That would be great. And I can see, you know, I would love to see that happen because James Ellsworth, I think, was released on the best of circumstances. He thanked WWE on his way out. We knew that his shelf life in WWE wasn't going to be too long, and his release didn't really come as a surprise. But if he can stay on good terms with them and make little cameos here and there and get paid like per deal basis, that would be awesome. And plus it would help him on the indie level because, you know, the more appearances he makes, the more, you know, that helps his name and the more fans recognize him, and he can charge a hefty penny to make indie appearances. So if WWE did things like that here or there to help Ellsworth out, that would be great. Ribs. The McRib is back. I saw a commercial for the McRib. Have any of you ever had a McRib? I have not. I'm curious about them, though. When do I think the best time to do Kurt Angle and Bret Hart would have been? Probably, it would have been probably 99 or probably 2000. But that's assuming that the screw job never happened. Bret Hart stayed around, never got the concussion, never had to retire. He would have been 43, 44 years old by that point. Kurt Angle would have been a young man, and you know, it would have been hard to see that match still, but I think they could have pulled it off. Would have been much better if you could put 2001 Kurt Angle in the ring with 1993 Bret Hart. Oh my God. Somebody recreate that on a video game for me and send me the link. Just think about that match. Think about 1993 Bret Hart versus 2001 Kurt Angle. And tell me you're not rock hard right now. The Paw, what's up? Good to hear from you. Nice to see you here. Nice to see a lot of you here. Let's go back to Twitter. See if anybody's saying on that anything there. Bunch of new followers. Hey guys. If I had to choose one member, this is the Shackster at Shadiel and Smith. I don't even know what the fuck this says. Shade Allen Smith. When it's all running together, I can't read. If I had to choose one member of either men's team to be the sole survivor, who would I choose? You mean tonight? I would have probably chosen Braun Strowman. Just like Andre the Giant was a sole survivor in the very first ever Survivor Series. After losing to Hogan at WrestleMania 3. And then he came back to win the whole thing at the Survivor Series and earned himself another title shot. So I think Braun Strowman would have been the best choice as far as what you can get out of it. The sentimental choice might have been Kurt Angle to see him tap out somebody for the finish and become the sole survivor. And, you know, Kurt not being in the ring much anymore, on the verge of retirement, that would have been a nice memory for the fans to have. But, you know, if you're thinking business-wise and where you're going to go with talent in the future, Braun Strowman would have made the most sense to me. Reading more tweets. You guys following me on Twitter, by the way? Because how many followers do I have? 3901. Will you get me to 4,000, please? Is anybody listening to this? Go over there and follow me on Twitter. And as a matter of fact, help me on my Facebook page, too. Get me to 2,000. I'm pulling up my Facebook page. I am on... Jesus, I'm still like on 1956 likes. So for some reason, I cannot get to 2,000 likes on Facebook. I crawl at a snail's pace on that. I know I don't post much on Facebook, but I put my commentaries there, and sometimes I say some stuff. So give that a like and give me a follow. Not to be a social media begging whore. The Usos put on a good show versus Sheamus and Cesaro. I agree. That match was awesome. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Realistically, One Good West, you say there was no one that could have gone one-on-one with Braun Strowman tonight. They should have had Kane come out and take him out somewhere. I agree. You know, the ending to that match was so confusing. We don't know what was the point of any of that. Like, Triple H just appeared on the scene last week. What would his motivation be, not only to attack Kurt Angle, then befriend Shane McMahon, then attack Shane McMahon, then get attacked by Braun Strowman, then attack Braun Strowman back, only to be power slammed in the end? What the fuck does any of that mean? I don't know. How uncomfortable was Shawn Michaels on the kickoff show? I only saw a little bit of the kickoff show, so I don't know if he looked uncomfortable, but I don't know if he was a last-minute addition because of what happened to David Otunga. I don't know. So I don't know if that was the original plan for Shawn Michaels. But I didn't really notice how uncomfortable he looked. He slurs and stutters a lot now. That's coming from me, who's had a few of these. But, you know, just listening to Shawn Michaels talk, sometimes it's like, all right, Shawn, kind of get your feet underneath you here. Try to get your thoughts together. All right, who do we still have in the audience here? How long have we gone here? Let's go. We've gone 2.5 hours almost. And I've got still 200 of you watching. Not bad. 15 dislikes now? What am I saying that's so bad? I thought this was fun. 15 of you hate me? So sad. So sad. Wow, a bunch of new subscribers too. Yeah, these live streams get me a chunk of subscribers. Hopefully you guys don't all unsubscribe right after this. I will be doing more of these in the future. But yeah, so far every time I've done a live review, a bunch of new people show up. So welcome. What else do you want to talk about before I sign off here? I'll go a few more minutes, but realistically, I should probably think about signing off. What happened to Otunga? Him and Jennifer Hudson apparently are splitting up. There have been some rumblings of maybe some domestic violence going on. We're not really sure, but whatever it is, it doesn't sound good. I got more of these spam dating things. What are you guys doing on YouTube that makes me get these? I gotta block these people. Let's block her. You're not even hot, whatever your name was. Ask me if I want to date you and follow you to this link. We hate you for hating pizza. I'm sorry. If you need to unsubscribe, I totally understand. Lonzo Ball, I hate him. You guys know that. Somebody asked me my thoughts on Lonzo Ball. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't hate Lonzo Ball. The dad, LeVar Ball. Hate LeVar Ball. Lonzo Ball's too young and stupid to hate. He's just a kid. He's in the NBA. How can you not do anything but wish him well? I just think his dad's annoying as shit. Oh, hello. How you doing? Sorry, I'm just reading. You guys want to watch me reading a lot of these comments. Facebook is lame. I know I just asked for a like on Facebook, but it's social media and it gets your name out there, and it's a way for people to discover you. So if you have a YouTube channel or you're a public figure, Facebook has usefulness. Oh, there's a good question. I've seen this around lately. A lot of people have been getting asked this. Should they bring back the final match of Survival for the Survivor Series? They've only done that one time. That was in 1990. And the funny thing about that is that even though that was a really good idea, even though I thought that was a really fun concept, I think really the only reason it was put in place was because they didn't want to have Hogan or Warrior lose. They were both captaining different teams, and then they wanted to have a situation to where the two of them could be together at the end, and they kind of put that match together for that purpose. Because once you saw Hogan and Warrior survive their teams, you know that they're going to be on the same team, and you know they're not going to lose. There's just no fucking way. So the only thing that would have been cool, but they wouldn't have done this back in 1990, the only thing that would have been cool in that was to do a turn or have the Ultimate Warrior or Hogan turn on each other or attack each other or do something to set up the rematch at WrestleMania 7. That would have been the only cool swerve that they could have thrown at us back then. But at that time, in 1990, WWE would have never done that. So I think that match was kind of put together just to appease Hogan and Warrior and have them close out the show together. And, doing that today, I think today could work. Years prior, I didn't think it would work in later years, like mid-90s and stuff. But now that we're in 2017 and we're bringing back everything else, War Games is back and concepts like that. So if they wanted to do that one year for Survivor Series, that would be fine. But then you'd be combining that with a brand split. Now you've got a match of Survival and the brand split. And back in 1990, it was baby faces versus heels. Maybe this time around they would do SmackDown and Raw together, and then there would be an ultimate match of bragging rights. I don't know how that would work post-brand split era. But, if they brought it back, I certainly wouldn't complain because I like the concept back in 1990. What's the final match of Survival? They've only done it once. Check out Survivor Series 1990. Watch that pay-per-view. The winner of every match, of all the elimination matches, were put together in one final match, babyfaces versus heels. And I think it was Hogan, Warrior, and Tito Santana against, if memory serves, I think it was Rick Martel, Warlord, maybe Power and Glory, fucking somebody else. I forgot who, but the Hogan, or maybe Sergeant Slaughter, that might have been it. Hey, my cat is here. He might want to jump up and say hi. But Hogan and Warrior reigned supreme that year. Tito got eliminated, and then I think it was like 2 versus 5, and Hogan and Warrior blew through everybody and closed out the show victorious. So cool concept, but I think done just mainly to appease the two big egos in WWE. Will you shut the fuck up? Jesus Christ. You guys met this fucker last time. Hey, Come on, jump up here. So my cat is going ape shit in the background. He's completely left me alone this whole time, and now he decides to be an asshole. Jump up here if you want to. Jesus. Where are you at? Come here. Which one was better, War Games or Survivor Series? You mean this year? Always Look Cool 729? Definitely War Games. I enjoyed NXT better than Survivor Series, although Brock and AJ did tear the house down. Come here, buddy. Oh, come on. Why don't you say hi to GoodMicWork Universe? Let's see if we can see you on camera here. All right, this dude. Wave. Will you leave me alone and let me do my my live review? I'd appreciate it. All right, he's gone. Little fucker. All right. Well, let's start thinking about signing off now. I am at 2 hours and 25 minutes. This has been fun. This really has. I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to look at the live chat. I'm going to look at Twitter and I'm going to see if there's anything else to talk about. I would love to stay up here and talk more. This is actually a lot of fun, but at some point it's just going to become rambling. Let me see what my audience is like. I'm checking out Twitter. Santiago, do you have a pro wrestling show that you like to watch even though you know it's bad? Yours is December to Dismember because you're a sick bastard. I have some shows like that for sure. I don't know if I can think of one off the top of my head that I watch knowing that it sucks. Can you guys... Oh, they're both up there eating now. I don't know if I have a show that I know that sucks but I watch anyway. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But the answer to your question is definitely yes. I have shows like that, but me being able to think about one right now is kind of hard. Let's go back to YouTube. That was on Twitter. Let's see what other Twitter questions we have before I go back over there. Oh, some weird ones. All right, let's go back to the chat. Can the other cat cameo? No, he's not as submissive as the other one. He's very skittish. My cats would make a great tag team because they have contrasting styles. You know, one is a complete skittish, nervous fucking wreck. He trusts me and he lets me do whatever I want to him, but for the most part, he doesn't like to be held or touched or too much happening with him, where the other guy will just let me do anything to him. I just pick him up and he's completely limp in my arms, lets me carry him around, likes to be held, likes to be in my lap, likes to be on me all the time, where the other one is the complete opposite. So, but the one thing they both have in common is they're both fat fucks and they eat way too much. And the vet has warned me that they are both about a pound or two overweight. So I need to work on that. Somebody named their cat Paw Heyman. I like that. What 90s wrestlers would I remake the Shield out of? Damn, that's hard too. That's hard too. Maybe the DOA, you know, Crush and 8-Ball and Chains or whatever the fuck, Skull. Maybe those guys. They kind of closely resembled them. Demolition or Road Warriors. Demolition was probably, aside from the Hart Foundation, my favorite tag team in WWE. But I can't deny that there's only one original and true painted-faced warrior team, and that's the Road Warriors. So got to go with them. But taking nothing away from Demolition at all. Yeah, some people are getting a kick out of me for some reason. Little fucker, well, he is one. Sometimes, I'm telling you, I love dogs and I would have a dog, but since I've lived in California, we've been in like condos and, you know, it's just not a good environment for a dog for me. Plus, I work late nights and I want to be able to take them out and walk them and give them their exercise and take them to the beach and stuff like that. And that would be much better with a house somewhere where they can have a little bit more room to move. So I compromised with pets and I have a couple of cats. But even cats, even though they shit in the box and they stay out of your life for the most part, they can be a pain in the ass. They're both, I don't know what's going on with them over there right now, but yeah. They're not all, it's not all rainbows with cats because they can be highly disruptive. Who breaks up the Shield? That's a good question. You got to think it would be Dean this time because I don't think they're going to do Roman. Roman seems like he's going to be babyface at least for life right now, unless they change their mind in the next year or two. So if anybody breaks it up this time, it might have to be Dean Ambrose. How cool would that be if Dean Ambrose broke up the Shield, turns heel somewhere in some sort of a situation, and then a couple of years go by, they reunite again, and then Roman breaks them up. And then all three guys turned on each other. Might be fun. Oh, anytime. Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for all the good thoughts, by the way, to all of you who have said awesome things in the stream tonight. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I'm going to think about getting out of here now. What are we on? We are on just passed over 2 hours and 30 minutes exactly. This should be a good quitting time, I think. So thank you for joining me. I want to know what you guys think in the comments, in the chat right here. Do you think this is something I should try to do for more pay-per-views? Did you enjoy this? Do you prefer the 20-minute post-pay-per-view commentary, or do you prefer this? If you prefer this, I'll start doing this more often. I'll probably definitely do it for the Royal Rumble. Maybe for in-between pay-per-views, we'll see how it goes. But right now, I kind of like this idea. It was a lot of fun. I had fun. So sorry for rambling a lot. Sorry for getting off topics from time to time. And sorry for having about 10 Dos Equis. But hell, it's a pay-per-view Sunday and I'm off. What else can you do? Yeah, you're welcome, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for saying thank you, basically. You guys are always really nice, really gracious, and I appreciate all your support. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now. Like I said, for next week, just keep this in mind. My commentary will try to be up by Wednesday morning. That's a little bit earlier than normal. Normally, it comes up on early Thursday mornings. Because of the holiday, Thanksgiving here in the United States, I'm going to try to have it up to you a day early if I can. But no promises yet. So stay tuned to the YouTube channel and subscribe if you have not yet already. And I will talk to you either on Wednesday night or Thursday morning. I will talk to you guys real soon. This is GoodMicWork signing off, and I'll see you at the next live stream. Take care.